my fucking mouth back.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 22, the Season 10 finale. And it's Here's Negan! It's the Negan episode that a lot of people have been waiting for. This episode is getting a lot of hype, a lot of attention, and we're going to break it down and talk all about it. We're actually going to do a recap tonight. We're going to break down this episode scene by scene and talk about it and get into it. But I'm not alone. Of course, I'm not alone on season finale night. I have with me my co-host, my partner in all of this, Joe Dirty Locks. How's it going, Joe? Okay, I think, do I have Joe? Joe, you might be muted temporarily.
Goes good, man. Goes good.
Okay, there we go. We got Joe. Joe, before we get started, I need to do something special for you tonight.
Special for me.
Yeah. You are so beautiful to me.
You know, he
it was great.
That guy, he had one of those voices that you just can't unhear.
You can't unhear. But I will say this right. I'm not going to waste any time, and I don't know how Joe and I didn't touch base about this, but I really did enjoy this episode. I think the hype built up was worth it. But in some ways, this episode pisses me off because it shows that The Walking Dead, when they want to, and I don't want to start this off negatively because this was a really great episode of television for me anyways. The acting in it was incredible across the board. The writing, the editing, and the way the music fit with everything. It was an actual really good episode of The Walking Dead. Of these 6 episodes, I liked 2 of them. And this one, a lot of people...
You liked this. You liked this in a flashback of a flashback of a flashback.
Oh, yeah. Okay, before we get too into it...
We were 4 fucking deep at one point, Phil.
Oh,
Come on now. 4 fucking deep.
You guys, speaking of 4 deep, you guys might get your 4 deep Joe rants tonight.
No, it's not even worth a rant. It would be another rant about.
No, but we got to get into this, Joe, because some people are calling this the
best episode of The Walking Dead ever.
Yes, Joe. Some people are saying that. We're gonna get into that, Joe. I want to break this down. I actually did enjoy this episode. I don't have quite the strength in me tonight to fight you, but it's going to be fun.
That's because there is no fight to be had.
I actually enjoyed this episode. We might get into muting Joe again tonight. This has been a while, but no. But we're going to get into this, what I thought, what Joe thought. If you guys had some problems with it or loved this episode, please share it in the comment section, or you can call in at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. Let Joe know what you think. Let me know what you think. Whichever one of us you guys think are a moron, we want to hear about it. And also, I forgot to introduce the live motherfucking chat. We got the live motherfucking chat. We got Len, we got Tim, we got Tamara, we got Christian, we got Jason Voorhees, we got the Iron Throne saying a Joe pre-rant prologue. Atari Dad Joe Cocker is legendary for the simple fact that he covered a Beatles song and made it even better. Tamara says, I love you, Joe. And great to see Tim F in the chat as well. We see Jay in there. Bliss, a sensitive man. We get some good comments in the chat. We get a couple people saying this was the only episode of the season that they liked. So before we break it all down, it's funny you say this, Joe, because when I'm watching this 2 days ago and watching the episode, and I looked at some of the early thoughts after I watched it, my initial flash in my brain was, you were not going to like this. That you personally wouldn't enjoy this episode because of that factor. It is a flashback within a flashback within a flashback. Let's try
within a 4 deep, Phil.
But
4 deep.
But sometimes going 4 deep is fun, and I thought in this situation it actually worked and was funny to the breakdown of the Negan personality and to see the different kind of sides of his personality. I generally enjoyed it mainly because of the acting. Let's break it. The real thing comes down to it.
Now, okay, you want to break it down? You want to get into the acting too?
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
Come on. It was like, okay, we want you to act as though you've been acting,
Joe,
for most of the series here, or at least most of the last season, and then what we want you to do is, because you've already been kind of soft already, we need you to be Mr. Oh, I'm just so soft. Oh, Mr. Like it was almost like he even calls himself you're a fucking clown, right?
Yeah, a cult of personality without the cult.
But like I felt like the fucking soft boy Negan in love, making amends with his wife and getting the cancer meds, the way he was behaving and like just his like soft ass everything was really kind of just awfully acted out. I'm sorry,
see,
it was.
I enjoyed
really
it.
Fucking was.
I enjoyed it. It made that scene. I guess I was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit with this one, where you weren't, and this is why.
Like he was already toned down for the last season because of jail and all this shit.
Right, but that made that moment when we see him in the origin, when he busts out of the fiery house, where you are so beautiful, so big, and at the end. And this is what I want to talk about quickly before we break down the episode. I do want to ask you one thing, just from a structural standpoint from the episode.
What did he pack his fucking bags after he burned down the house, Phil? Come on. He started. I'm gonna just sit here and watch my wife's dead body burn. Okay, and now that room is engulfed in fire, I'm going to stand here in the fucking hallway and watch the hallway fucking burn. Oh, wait, forgot to pack my bag. Now that the fire is pouring out of the front fucking door, I'm going to kick the door open, the Dutch door for some reason that's got a top and a fucking bottom.
It was a beautiful shot.
Burned in half or whatever the fuck happened to the door, where he kicks open the bottom half and then pokes open the top half with a fucking bat. What kind of fucking door opens like that, Phil? You thought that was great? That was
a beautiful
the flames nipping
a beautiful
at the top of his
one.
head. He casually walks out of the house that's fucking burning down. He didn't inhale any of that fucking smoke standing upright in the fucking flames that are pouring.
Joe, you are so beautiful to me.
Come on.
You're
that
beautiful.
Was actually one of the fucking stupidest moments of the fucking Walking Dead in a long ass fucking time. And you're calling that out as, it made it that much better? No, it would have made it that much better if his regular personality that he has now, that the one we see right now, is the one that he had with his wife and all those other fucking scenes, not this like,
we see that in his video game
fucking going to pick the flowers and shit.
We see that in his video game personality. But before we go there, Joe, because that's important, all of what you just said, I do want to ask you one question about the people in the chat are making sure you're okay. The look that he gives Maggie at the end of the episode. What do you think? What do you read into that look? Is that him saying, "Fuck you, I'm back, I'm Negan. You can deal with your own Glenn shit. He's long dead. Get the fuck over it." Or is it him just sort of accepting his fate that she was going to kill him?
Accepting his fate I think he's like, she thinks this is going to be some big showdown, and I'm just going to let her kill me.
Yeah. So
like,
you think
I
it's
feel like he might try to talk his way out of it, but ultimately I kind of felt like he was just going to walk right up to her and be like, hand her a gun and be like, if you want to do it here. Like I really thought that, and I would have been okay with, if that was like the last scene, I would have been okay with that.
I mean, in a way, he might be. This is his goodbye, like putting himself there. It's suicide without suicide in a sense. And we have a voicemail, our first voicemail of the evening. Let's play this. This is from oh my god, this looks like it might be from our favorite Cape Crusader who knows that I'm wearing his signal on my shirt right here. Let's see. Here we go.
Hello, this is Batman. No, not Jason Voorhees. This is Batman. Listen, I want to tell you something. Season 11 of The Walking Dead will be the story of how my parents learned to stop fighting each other, okay? Now, that's a deep cut. See if you get it. Okay, Batman out.
So good voicemail by Batman, yes, because in which Batman is it the newest one, the Ben Affleck Batman, that Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Maggie are Batman's parents?
No.
Yes, it's in that one, right? It's in the quick flashback that we get in Superman Batman versus Superman, I believe.
Yeah, because for some reason we needed to tell the origin of Batman again.
So I don't want to get into all of that because you. Whatever. I'm going to open up a whole different can of worms. Okay, so you think the look that he was giving Maggie was an acceptance of his own fate, not a "fuck you, take your dead husband and shove it up your ass" kind of look.
I don't know. It might have been also not necessarily a "fuck you, take your dead husband and shove it up your ass," but like
I'm paraphrasing, Negan.
Uh, either we're gonna get along or not. Like, I don't know. It was an odd little smile, an odd little smirk, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it.
Now, fandom.
At that point, I was still thinking about the stupid fucking.
You got trapped in the paradoxal flashback within a flashback within a flashback. You can't deal with one flashback in something, let alone 4 deep, as you put it.
I would have rather had a little bit more Negan, fashion bikers' heads in.
Okay, someone said earlier in the chat that they thought you could have played the biker. I feel like someone said that. Atari Dad said, "Oh no, Joe Cocker is legendary." So someone said, but okay, so to your point about we don't really see the Negan that we see later on, we do to a minor extent in the video game scene where we get a flashback of him playing video games with little kids and talking shit to them like he talks shit to all the people that are under him. And then we also get the story of how he beat the shit out of the dude. Like that's a little like the Negan that we see.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm sure I've mentioned it on this show, like that seeing red shit.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Those exact fucking words. How many you've heard me say that? Like only once in my life, but like that seeing red shit is true. Everything it is a tint of red around it. It like fills the air, the spaces in between, like it's red. Everything is fucking red. That shit ain't fucking a joke. When you are that mad, you are capable of fucking putting brains on a wall. No problem. That shit is true. Like when he said that, like I looked at Katie, I was like, you've heard me say that.
Yeah, I've heard you say that a bunch. Fandom D Saint says the flashback scene with the flashback within a flashback in a flashback was like The Last of Us Part 2. Joe, was it like The Last of Us Part 2? Or do you think it was like The Last of Us? Do you agree with fandom on that?
I don't remember the flashback within a flashback within a flashback for The Last of Us Part 2. There was some flashbackage, like you do have flashback in there. And then I guess she flashed back again to like her dad's death during that flashback. It's been a while since I've played it, but it's a little bit different when you have to play as the character.
No, I hear it.
Just watch it. Because you're distracted with like, oh, I got to run down to the stadium now and go fucking look at dogs in cages and the farm or whatever that's going on in the field, or I don't remember what was going on in the stadium, but like you're doing shit in between that in that flashback, so you kind of forget you're in a flashback, which TV and movies can't do to me.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why it's a tough transition between the two mediums, because there just are two different mediums. Jason Voorhees says Batman stole his phone. You're stuck on the lot, and Batman's sneaking over there in the Warner Brothers lot, stealing your phone. What an asshole. Brian Dodd, Phil looks like Robin, and Joe looks like Batman. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I think in fairness, I'm not.
Robin is the new Red Hood. Red Hood
or Nightwing.
Robin became Red Hood, right? And now Red Hood is Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, or you could say
replacement.
Or you could say Robin became Nightwing, who eventually became Batman as well.
Well, no, Todd.
But if we go to another Robin, he didn't specify Robin. I could be Dick Grayson as well, who eventually does become Batman.
But the other one, Todd, he becomes Red Hood.
He does. And was Damian ever a Robin? I know at times he was a Batman, but I don't know if Damian Wayne was ever a Robin. I know. And then the other one is Drake. Something Drake is the other Robin, and then there was a.
We've reached the extent of my Robins. I got two of them.
There's, I believe that
Todd and Grayson, like that's it.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of Robins. Okay, anyways, let's get into the live chat a little bit more. It was me. I thought biker Negan yelling at Negan. If it was me, I thought the biker yelling at Negan for talking too much could have been Joe for a line there. Negan, thank you, doctors, for saving my sick wife.
Wait a second. Start at the beginning, not at the end, you fuck. What the fuck?
Okay, that's where I thought some of that stuff was funny, Joe, in a way that I get that you didn't dig it in the same way. When that guy cuts him off and goes, "Will you shut up?" It almost made it for me, because at that point it does get a little confusing, and you see that the whole dynamic is him wasting time. It's kind of spinning his wheels. And I get what you're saying, like the acting and some of the slower parts didn't work for you. And I think it's very dependent, and this is why it worked for me. I think this episode is very dependent on him. It's again to go what Angela Chang was saying earlier in the season. This episode is so dependent on believing the acting between Carol and Daryl, and you need to feel that to feel this episode. And I think this is the same way with Jeffrey D. Morgan. You need to kind of dig what he's doing in this episode to get this, to like this episode. And if you don't, it's like any of these episodes.
And I didn't, because like they already had because they went and so when they did that 12 years earlier shit, and they softened up his face and made him look younger and shit, and then made him act in a manner that was soft isn't really the way to.
You had to see a change, though. Like
you didn't have to see
it.
Phil,
like when characters have arcs.
Old. Phil, you're 40 years old. You're 40 what? 2? You're 42.
Whatever. That's irrelevant.
Right? No. Stop. You were not a soft little girl 12 years ago.
Yes, but stop. I didn't go through a zombie apocalypse. It changes you. I could have been a soft person, and then 12 years later, after going through an apocalypse and losing your wife through cancer in a horrible fucking way like that, getting the shit kicked out of you, could change you into a different person. I like seeing the arc. I like seeing the arc of the character.
I'm not arguing that fact, right? I'm not arguing the fact that all that shit can make you into a hard person. I'm saying that the acting job performed by Jeffrey Dean Morgan was fucking horrible. It was unbelievable. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm saying that watching him be his even-keeled self after all the prison shit, right? And seeing the shit from before that, the awful, horrible bash fucking people's heads in, swear every 2 seconds shit, and then reconciling that with with Guy doing this soft little I'm in love and everything's about my cancer dying wife and that shit. It wasn't viable. I didn't believe it. He didn't sell it. It wasn't there. I know those two are married in real life, but their chemistry on screen really kind of fucking sucks.
Wow, okay.
I don't know what everybody was raving about that. I think here's the thing. I felt like her chemistry towards him was a little bit more believable or feelable than vice versa. And maybe that's true due to and planned because of like the cheating line that they have in there and stuff like that. So there's this thing between them anyway, and so that kind of explains why their chemistry is off. But it was more than that. It was actually just he was off-putting, and it was okay. So have you seen this side of Jeffrey Dean Morgan and anything he's done? I'm talking about the cancer scenes with his wife and stuff like that. Have you seen the side of him in anything he's done? No, I haven't. And now that I have, I know why.
Now you don't want to see it anymore. Okay.
And now I don't want to see it anymore. I don't need to see it anymore. That is not his fucking wheelhouse.
Now he
does not have, like, he should not be the loving dad in some drama of a family in fucking suburbia. Ever. That's not his fucking role.
Richie says, please someone give Joe. I don't think that's the problem. A man says King Ezekiel went from being a zoo janitor to speaking in Shakespearean.
True. Like the apocalypse can have an effect on you.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was introduced to his wife Hillary by Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. Hard time hearing Joe. After Jason, we got some Jason Todd. It was Tim Drake. Thank you, Merle Davis, in the live chat. Atari Dad, you're absolutely right. I am a soft little girl now. Robin was Dick Grayson, who became Nightwing, and Jay says in the chat, Damian is Robin now. Oh, cool. I knew he was Batman for a while. Then Dick Grayson took over for him as Batman when Bruce disappeared for that long extended time period. But again, I'm extending my knowledge of Batman stuff right now. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this. Let me pull up some goddamn frickin' music and let's get into this recap. Okay, this is the season finale recap. I don't quite have the strength in me to run around. My arm just went, oh, what are you doing, you asshole?
No.
Oh, God, but it will leave me to drinking. Okay, so I think a Voorhees reaction channel would be Silent Era Film. Oh, we do have one more voicemail before we start our recap here. So let's listen to this. Change that, and let's go to the voicemail.
Phil, Joe, it's the greatest ever. It's your friend the Donald. No, not Jason. Donald, okay? Listen, greatest episode ever. Even better than my wall. Okay, listen, sometimes I like to eat a burger inside a box, it's inside another box, it's inside another box. So I totally get it, okay? Hey, by the way, you have the greatest show ever next to mine. Love you guys. Make Walking Dead great again. Okay.
Love you too, burger guy. So in a box. So is that your problem with the episode, or is it more Jeffrey D. Morgan's acting for you when it comes down to your problems with the episode? For me,
so they didn't. Okay, the flashback shit was easily followable, right? You could follow it. Followable.
Yeah, he did a good enough job with the commentary and the way it was, because I would say, again, if I'm getting into things I liked about this episode, I'll get away from Jeffrey D. Morgan's acting for a moment here. I thought what worked about this episode in a way that sometimes The Walking Dead doesn't quite hit on, I thought the editing, the music, the choice of Joe Cocker in those scenes.
Okay,
in the
you
way
liked the music.
I liked the music in this episode particularly.
Let's talk about the music.
We will be listening to some of the music.
Are there any The Last of Us fans out there?
I haven't played
of that kind of sound familiar.
I have not played. Okay, fair, Joe. I haven't played The Last of Us, so I don't have that for reference. Were they basically just copying The Last of Us at times?
Very much. Like, even Katie was like, "Wow, what did they like?" I was spaced out. I don't know what I was thinking about at that moment, like when the guitar was kind of playing. And she was like, "What? They fucking steal the Last of Us soundtrack for this shit this season?"
In fairness, they know the show's being produced, so maybe they want to jump the gun on those kind of stuff. We got the Walking David in the live chat right now.
Right, so they can if the video game people who love the Last of Us don't pick up on it, right? And then people who are like, "Well, let's check that Last of Us shit out," hear that kind of music during it, they're gonna be like, "Hey, they're copying the Walking Dead soundtrack, man."
That could be a YouTube show. Give him some hungry burgers nested in 4 boxes. God damn it, people keep stealing Jason Voorhees' phone tonight. So I enjoyed some of the editing in this episode, in some of the crossovers. I thought to your point, that even if it was as a flashback within a flashback within a flashback, I thought, the compliment that you gave the episode, a backhanded one, but a compliment, was that you could follow his story through each flashback.
Through the flashback.
And what I did
it helped that they told you too.
It did help, and it also helped. And what was interesting and different that we got in this episode was getting to see pre-apocalypse, a few moments of pre-apocalypse, whether it be with him playing video games or her when she got her news
on the phone,
or hearing the early reports of it on the car radio. I thought those little touches added.
Shut up and give me music.
Hearing, yeah, exactly. Shut up and give me music. Hearing Rick's voice and actually getting
of other people,
getting to see Rick on the screen again for a second. Things like that. Rick was there for a second. Yeah. In one of the Negan flashback moments, Rick was there. I'll be playing.
Oh, okay, where they like faced off for a half a second. Yeah.
Merle Davis said, also, Joe, if you say Jeffrey D. Morgan was a bad actor, Merle Davis will punch you through the screen.
I didn't say he was a bad actor.
I
said he did a bad job.
You didn't like his softer touch.
His wheelhouse.
You didn't like his softer touch. You didn't like him acting out of character tonight. Now, Fandom D Saint says, exactly, Joe. They were using The Last of Us. Did they play Anne Murray music? Celebrity Bikini. I didn't see you in there. Great to see Celebrity. Ahmed, these are scenes from Hostel 2 where 2 suburban dads talk about how killing a person is like losing their virginity and changes your personality.
Hostel 1 was fucking awesome.
I remember the first one freaking me out too. I remember early on one of the writers and showrunners said they didn't want to rely on flashbacks. So this was a flashback. Okay, so this episode starts out. It's a fun episode, confusing, not confusing, but weird, like a storyteller one. Maggie and young Herschel singing "You Are My Sunshine" starts out the episode, and Carol brings Negan out of town and gives him a house and a rabbit and says, "We voted you out off the island." And he says, "Is this a really you voted me off the island thing, or is this a Carol thing?" And she walks off and smiles and says, "Fuck you." So of course it's a Carol thing. Carol took it upon herself. And I didn't get a chance to talk to you about last week's episode or the Carol and Daryl episode that we had before, but one minor thing that you're probably going to shit on that I enjoyed in this episode was Carol felt like she was actually Carol again in this episode. Whereas the couple times we've seen her last episode when she's cooking rock soup and freaking out and being like, I enjoyed her dynamic with Negan being like, oh, I just wanted to get your death off my conscience, kind of like giving him that I used you and I'll use you anyway, I want kind of vibe, and her taking it upon herself to kick Negan out without even talking to anybody else, just basically doing that all herself, and in the end just being like, okay, fuck you, you can die. So I enjoyed Carol's performance more in this small moment that we got her in this episode than I did in 2 whole episodes almost dedicated to Carol this season. Just her little interactions felt more real. Like one of my favorite Carol moments in seasons was when Negan shows up after the Alpha death and he's just like hands her the head and she walks off. That feels like an unnerfed Carol. What I've always say about Carol is she got Peter Petrelli'd. They made her too powerful after that wolf thing where she basically Rambo'd the whole
the cannibals.
Yeah, the wolf guys or whatever they were. She like basically just went all Rambo and destroyed them all. And since that point, they have to Peter Petrelli her, take her powers away, make her seem less effective. And occasionally they'll show
because she also killed the 2 little girls.
Yes, the look at the flowers. Absolutely,
no, they did. They were, and see, they could have. They did. You're exactly right, Phil.
With the Carol stuff?
Yeah, they did. They made her too powerful too quickly. It was the fact that it was just her alone. Like she didn't get she didn't run into anybody else on the way up to Terminus. There wasn't like a planned, like haphazardish kind of like assault. It was just she went in and fucking killed them all and freed everybody and
and it was like after that point they had to tone her down, have her have some problems. That fandom
now I have to live alone. I have to leave my group and my family.
I'm having conflicts and this and that or like all this sort of shit.
Now I'll go live with this group and this guy who's fucking obviously fucking something wrong with him talking Shakespeare and shit all the fucking time.
Oh, give the king a break.
He's so dreamy.
You may notice things with Maggie and I are a little bit tense. I don't mind being lay low Negan for a bit, but hell, there's only so far I can go to get out of her way.
No. See, you haven't been thinking outside the box, Negan. We can go a couple miles outside of her way. I'm gonna leave you here.
And he can be a lot stupider. Glass half.
Like she's taking a squirrel from like her like that's like living in her fucking roof, like dropping him off at the woods a mile away.
now save the cheerleaders, save the world. Glass half empty says, as a stupid person, I declare this show the most unsophisticated on the planet, convincing me that even I could be a screenwriter. I think that's how Joe feels when he watches this show too.
Like I'm not like a genius by any means. I probably have an average intelligence and average wisdom level that
you probably
sometimes is right on and sometimes gets me fucking
you probably started off at a higher one and then things happened.
Maybe I started off on a lower one and it got a little higher.
Quick spoiler alert for Heroes if you've never seen it. To Glass Half Empty's comment, Heroes season 2 broke my heart. Heroes, anything that happened after the moment that Sylar had a sword through his heart broke my heart with Heroes.
No, anything that happened after the moment that they showed that fucking sword drain open and fuckhead slithered down into the swords to magically still be alive. That was the moment.
That's what I mean.
Show was like.
That's what I mean. Anything that happened after they had him get stabbed through the heart, that was the perfect end to that series as a miniseries.
That was season 1.
That was the end of season
finale?
1. there was a few things that happened after that at the end.
No. See, season 1 finale, the series ended there.
Yeah, it should have. It should have just been a mini series, like
season 1 finale,
like a V mini series thing where it just sort of came and went, one season, bam, and you're done. Season 2 of Heroes was a disaster. Okay, anyway, sorry, enough Heroes talk. But Negan would seem like he was the savior again when he went on his own. Celebrity Bikini have to run to the awesome Celebrity Bikini will be on a bit. See you when you get back. Look forward to seeing Shakira in your pictures when you get back. Glass half empty's crying. Exactly. Heroes makes you cry. And then we get to the fucking 3rd season that's all fucked up because of the writer's strike and it got half better for a second. And then the 4th season when they bring on the fucking circus. Oh my God. Okay. So the council banished Negan. Speaking of a circus. Okay, then we get Negan at a fire, drinking and eating and thinking, and too much. We see him and Negan, he's taunting himself. This is what I think everyone knew was going to happen in this episode, and we get Negan versus Negan.
Me in. It's all right. I know you can hear me loud and clear. I know that nobody likes and I told you so. What can I say?
Now, Joe, did you miss Negan? Did you miss seeing the leather jacket guy that we saw the previous seasons? I thought, and this is where you might disagree with me again, I thought Jeffrey D. Morgan played this Negan better than he did during the Negan seasons. Right here.
Sitting on the chair, like
twiddling himself.
It was the same.
I know, but you missed him. You missed.
And
that
they kind of did this to juxtapose the soft Negan.
Yeah, that's what we had. We had Negan versus Negan.
Soft Negan, normal Negan here, and then we had there's normal Negan here and hard Negan here, and then
you want to get Negan
then they
hard?
Get to show you this,
Here's Negan. See that's where we're learning all about Negan. Honestly, the thought of let me in thing with some kind of sexual role play he was doing with his wife. Cheers to Joe. But Carol started growing in season 1 when she went off to the fish fry. He comes in. Negan's a clown. We get a little monologue of old Negan is better than your cult of personality without a cult. You've never gotten anywhere without, and they go back and forth. You've never gotten anywhere with just a kind word. You've always needed Lucille with the bat. So then we get the flashback to Rick here. We get the broken glass of the church. We get a flashback. We hear Rick's voice, and we get that scene at the end of the arc where Rick stabs the shit out of him.
Carl said it doesn't have to be a fight anymore.
He was wrong.
And he stabs, and then we see Michonne, and we hear Michonne, and he asks about the bat. Then we get a whole little montage thing with him digging up the grave of Lucille, and we get a good aerial shot of digging, and he's looking for something. He finally finds the bat, and he smiles, and he's happy, and we get a close-up of some music, and then we see the flash 12 years later. So, Joe, finally we get a time frame of how long the apocalypse has been. At this point in time, it has been 12 years since the breakdown of society, I guess. About 12 years, 12, 13 years.
12 years.
Tracy G says, this episode cements the fact that it's time for Carol to go. Is it past
13
point?
years?
13 years since it started.
Because she's at the end of her chemo treatment. She's got 3 treatments left, and they've been scrounging through a supremely barely bear-picked town. So they've already been surviving in the apocalypse for at least a little while, and I'll give that a year. So we'll say it's 13 years. Well, didn't they say inside that it was 12 years and then 8 months earlier?
Right. So
she was on the phone, right?
Right. So between 12 and 13 years.
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years. Yeah, we'll split the difference here. David's got a voicemail. We'll play for it in a moment here. So then we flash into our Sons of the Anarchy charter or some shit claimers gang that has kidnapped Negan, hooded him. They unhood him. He's talking shit. And
no. And here's the thing: they're living in a fucking town. This is early on, 6 months into the fucking apocalypse, on a town that has been fully picked through, right? They've fully been picked through, not only by him, but there's no zombies left in this town 6 months on, aside from the one occasionally drawn to their generator.
Maybe these
zombies are drawn to their generator, but the bikers here, other roving gangs that still might be around, haven't heard the generator, had their door kicked in, people looking for supplies or to rape and pillage some hot, handsome Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He is handsome.
Come on, that's kind of ridiculous. How long do they get this fucking generator running for? How big is this generator's fucking?
I was more surprised that when she fires the gun, no other walkers came to.
None. But they haven't killed that many. He's having trouble killing the one walker out back, right?
Well, we'll get to that.
The town is fucking empty. But the town is fucking empty 6 months into the zombie apocalypse.
Now, Joe, Len threw something out in the chat. Does any part of you hope that next season, when we get the war between the two of them, that Negan ends up killing Maggie in self-defense? Does that create a more interesting story of where that story could go?
Well, here's the thing. How many people left in these two areas are like, oh, yeah, Maggie, I remember her. I loved her. Like, she's back. Like, how many? It was 5 years ago she left. Like, how many of the survivors of this alpha shit remember her?
Yeah, they more remember Negan helping out all the time around camp and like
or stopping the
Whisperers.
Yeah, right. And being a prisoner.
Merle says the bikers were apparently from Ohio. David's message. Let's play David voice.
They were still trying to kill him at the beginning of this Whisper shit. Some of the people in town.
Yeah, they
were trying to kill. I don't know. Michael,
we've got a super chat donation from Michael. I have missed Joe's rants, but Joe, and he's requesting it. He's requesting you taking a drink, and also we get a little song for you. And there we go. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. It means more than ever. And this is
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
And Joe will also take a drink for you.
Not everybody can handle the truth.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Thank you, Michael.
Shut the fuck up,
And the reason it
Joe.
upsets you is because you know this part of what I'm saying is actually true about these things.
Listen to the sounds of him.
It's very much Phil's analogy of eating that saltine and being told it's listen, when you are on a life raft in the middle of the fucking ocean and I hand you a cum-smeared fucking saltine and tell you it's a Ritz with jelly, you're going to be like, all right, that's the best crack I ever fucking had.
And in fairness, it's not mine, it's Eddie Murphy's. I just want to be clear that I'm stealing it. I appreciate you giving me
credit. I added my own touch.
Yeah, you did. You made it yours. You definitely made it yours. Eddie would appreciate that. Okay, we got a message from The Walking David before we get back to our recap here. And thank you so much, Michael, for that super chat donation. I might take one shot to you. One by the end of the night. I'm a little I'm on half speed this evening. So here we go, a message from David.
Hey, what's up, Phil? What's up, Joe? Good to see you guys. The main issue that I have with the whole episode, honestly, is still this whole Maggie direction that they're taking it. Because didn't they already have an episode back in like season 9, like at the very beginning of season 9, when Negan had a big beard and Maggie throws him against the wall and she said like, you know, I wanted to kill you, but you're already worse than dead.
Yeah.
And then he just goes willingly back into the cell. So why are we still doing this whole, like, I'm going to kill you in front of my little boy. I'm going to bash your head in with a different baseball bat. Like, I don't understand. It's like they forgot that they wrote that and now they're writing it again.
That's a good point, David, and not something I necessarily even remembered until you said it, and then the scene popped in my head. But they did kind of deal with this in a minor situation, and I mean the conclusion of it was her saying that she couldn't deal with it on an everyday basis, so she needed to leave to not have to see it right in front of her face. But to your point, she did kind of already accept that she wasn't going to kill him and that his life was pathetic and he'd have to live with the pain that he caused other people and kind of live amongst them. That was where she ended up on it. Where
it's exactly where she ended up. So why didn't she?
That's David's. I mean, that's David's point that it's you're jerking off with a cheese grater in this situation because it basically
she left because she ultimately couldn't live with that decision.
Right.
That
So
to
why
honor what Rick's decision was, but Rick, everybody had a hand. Rick decided, like, for everybody, no, we're gonna make him live, and then Rick disappears, and everybody's like, okay, Rick was like a god, so we'll listen to what he had to say about this. Maggie, Daryl, any one of them should have been like, you know what, Rick? Fuck you, and gone and killed him. Period. And then looked at Rick, all bloodied, holding a fucking samurai sword, and went, what?
If you want, Pedro, if you want to send a voicemail, you can see the number on the screen. 781-990-8509. Again, 781-990-8509. There's also a few other ways you could send voicemails. I don't have it set up to send them, but you can send it to my email if you know how to, if you can't call on in at igotissuesman@gmail.com. But the best way is to send a voicemail right there. Maggie sort of forgot about the Iron Fleet. In fairness, Maggie forgot about Beth for a while too. So it is. Remember that whole section when she just kind of basically forgets about Beth. Okay, so let's get a little bit more of this recap.
Well, she also kind of admits to, like, at some point, doesn't she kind of say, like, I never liked my sister. I never wanted, like she says, like, recent too, like,
she does
to, like, kind of cover that. Doesn't she say something like,
not exactly,
like, I hated my whole fucking family except my dad, or I only came back because my dad, like, for some reason, like, there was something about it.
Not
that's
exactly.
Part of the reason why she went and shacked up with fucking Glenn.
Okay, so let's continue here. So we see the Sons of Anarchy guys, the Claimer gangs. They're just talking shit about he has sick wife treatment. Negan lied and sent the biker guys out to meet up where their doctors weren't, and it happened to be this area that was all overgrown with grass and was bullshit. And they came back and they kidnapped him, and they said, "Listen, if you
do you go?
What do you mean?
I feel like we're skipping a little bit here, but like
this is the next scene. It's
okay.
It's just getting confusing because they flash back
because of the flashback shit. That's right. So the recap is going to be even more confusing.
So,
no. Dude, would you go?
What do you mean? Would I go?
Would you go get the meds?
If I was Negan, we're not to that point yet. This is the bikers where he's interviewing the bikers. We'll get to that question later, but I know
where he's getting tortured by them.
Right, he's getting tortured. But you're talking about would you go when his wife says
right? That's why he's there with the bikers. Right.
Right. Would I go in that moment? I don't know. I'll get to that later when we hear her. The way she says it at that point in the situation, I'd like to say I'd listen to her and stay, but I think ultimately I'd probably be like him and be pigheaded and be like, oh, I can do it. I can find it. Things are going to be okay. I think that's. I'd like to say that wouldn't be my perspective, but I think that would probably be. I'd probably do something very similar to what he ends up doing. And I'd like to say I'd stay with my wife in that situation, but I'd be like, no, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna go get this shit. I can do this, especially with the guilt that he holds. Okay, so he's being fucked with these guys. They say if you don't really tell me where these guys are, we're going to dump this shit out, and he ends up telling them basically the truth. Then we get another flashback of a few days ago where Negan's stalking the medical truck with a gun, and he robs them with some good editing with the way it was set up, almost like Ray Liotta on coke in Goodfellas, and the intensity is overwhelming him, and he gets knocked out by that woman that's a savior. I forget what the savior name is, but this is where she ends up being his number one lieutenant later on that we see. I forget what that actor's name is. Oh, Laura. Did you notice Laura was a Terminator fan because of her tattoo? What did I miss? Did Joe cry? Is Joe broken or hopeful after this phenomenal episode? Kang is a fucking genius, isn't she? Quote, sarcastic tone. Sarcastic.
Yeah, no, all the hope I had, like, here, okay, for 6 bonus episodes that they decided to film and air during the fucking pandemic, so they didn't have to, like, so they could take more time on their actual season. You came up with 5 out of 6 stinkers.
4 out of 6 stinkers.
No, 5.
4.
5. This. Hey,
Two
I
good
got some
ones.
more shit we gonna get to pick
No,
apart.
yeah, we're gonna get into more of it, but I would say to both of our points, if Siskel over there is right or Ebert over here is right, whatever, whichever one of our thumbs tilts in the right direction, either way, the majority of them sucked, right, Joe? Like either I liked two of them, you liked one of them. Either way, 4 or 5 of them sucked. So come on, they could have just done one episode, 1 2-hour episode with all of this mixed together, edited in a clever way where we get a little bit of backstory for everybody. And I don't know. I don't think they needed 6 episodes. They could have.
They definitely didn't need. Okay, no. We needed 6 episodes. We needed 6 episodes, Phil. But what we needed was 6 good episodes.
Yeah.
Give us flashback. Give us 6 episodes. Take 6 characters. Take 6. Any 6. This is what they should have done, Phil. You ready? 10 weeks before the fucking fall. Write those scripts. Give me Daryl for the 3 weeks before we ever met Daryl. Give me those 6 stories. Give me 6 individual Rick start of the Walking Dead.
I wouldn't mind
stories.
seeing something like that, but I do think with some of the shooting restraints that might have been a little bit more difficult. We do have a couple voicemails, but we got to continue.
Too many people involved instead of just 3 people on screen at a time. You'd have to have like cars and city lights.
Exactly. Okay, so then we get a flashback of a few days back when Negan is stalking the medical truck with the gun and he's robbing them. Some good, interesting editing, and then we see all that. So then he wakes up and he's tied up and the doctor's talking to him and he's like, "I'm Franklin, no problems." He unties him and he's like, "Dude, you just robbed me with an unloaded gun. What the fuck?" And he feeds him, he gives him supplies, and they're helping out people. And you know what, Joe? I would watch if we're talking about possible Walking Dead spin-off series that could be entertaining,
Traveling
Doctor at the beginning.
What about traveling chick trio? And they're like, "We're going to give you plans for windmills."
I don't think that's as interesting as a medical thing where you deal with where it's somewhat of a medical drama at the beginning and somewhat of a zombie apocalypse thing.
That's a target that goes down immediately.
Yes, it's a mini series.
They are traveling.
Joe,
doctors.
it's a mini series. It's a mini series.
They are firebombed first. Give me
Fair.
your perks.
Fair. But good. That's a conclusion to the story. You don't need every Walking Dead story that you put out.
Do you know how long that story lasts, Phil?
A season. It's a season. Bullshit. It already did. Up until that point, it already did in this world. So I want to see that story. What gets them to that point in those first 6 months of the apocalypse? It's a mini series. It's a mini series, not a long series.
6. You're right. They were.
There's 6 episodes of The Captain and Winter Soldier. There's 8 episodes of WandaVision. They do mini series, one and you're done. The Walking Dead should be this point moving on. They shouldn't try to milk one series. They should tell a story for as long as they could do and then end it.
I just also kind of like it like, oh, and I happened upon this guy who told me about these doctors and their whole route and where they stop and when, and if I go... Rather convenient.
You mean Dr. Exactly, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. Okay, so he wakes up and they're helping out people. Then he tells them he's been trying to keep his wife safe with chemo treatments and he taught himself how to give chemo. Then we get another flashback within the flashback of him getting her treatments, and they talk about killing a walker for the first time.
To your point, Phil, okay, I don't want it as the medical drama. You have not watched Zombieland, or what was it? No, the other zombie.
I know
show.
the one you're talking about. The one that was on FX or something, or USA.
The one on Sci-Fi or FX. Yeah, the funny one, right?
Yeah, the funny one. I haven't watched that, but yeah.
There's 2 guys in that. I forget. They're like traveling con artists / like black market goods or whatever, like scavenged goods sales guys that are. I want to watch a show about them traveling around, fucking conning and fucking selling their goods.
Pedro says there's a possibility that she wasn't the savior lady and they just reutilized the actress as an unnamed character. They do that a lot in Star Trek, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was supposed to be the same person, especially because she gave him the bat. But I wouldn't put it past The Walking Dead for recasting. Z Nation, Joe, that's the name of that show. people in the live chat say.
Yes.
Okay, so we do have some voicemails that we will get to. I see we have area code 202 and 587 that we will get to your voicemails in a bit. I just want to get through a little bit more of this recap.
Good to see you, Gary.
As Joe, we got Gary in the live chat, Gary Clark. I want an origin episode of Negan's lean, says Cattigat. Meryl's Davis at the Walking David. I know you're in Z Nation. Walking David, please see the comment section of the video from last week to see Meryl's Davis's reaction to some of your reactions for voicemails. Okay, so next. Okay, so no killing a walker. He gets into this whole thing with him and his wife.
Very much surprised. So lately, as Mr. Collins was wishing to marry you, but when you have... Mama.
So he reads her story. She's like, no, keep reading, bitch. And so he goes out looking for goggles, and he goes out to kill a walker, and it's a really uncomfortable, awkward experience watching him try to kill a walker for the first time. And he almost kills it. He goes out with a hammer and goggles and shit, and he hits it in its eye, but it keeps coming. He's like, oh, the fuck. And then his wife comes out and uses their last bullet to shoot the walker in the head. And this is the one moment where I had a Joe moment. I'm like, oh, that's going to bring tons of walkers over. This is how this is going to all, like, this is how he's going to lose his wife. There's going to be a horde that attacks because they hear the gunshot, but nothing.
No, I didn't mind the catalyst, okay, but I also believe that don't get me wrong, I go kill those people too, but I believe
Oh, you're talking about later in the episode when he goes back and
because your thinking is that this would have been the time because it would have brought the other zombies, but it wouldn't have been a catalyst for our change in Negan.
Right. And
you know what I mean? Like there needs to be, we talk about how he was violent and it wasn't him and he didn't kind of like it, but it was the guy deserved it.
Now,
right?
this is something I need to ask, and this isn't you because I know you haven't gotten this far with all of the graphic novel stuff. This is more for the comment section or the chat, live motherfucking chat that's watching right now. I don't know how loyal they just went beat for beat with the graphic novel Here's Negan issue. I don't know if this is they basically took panel for panel and there was a lot of that going on, and that's maybe part of the reason why people love this episode so much. And I mean, I loved it because of the acting and because of the parallels and some of the stuff, and I thought it actually worked as an episode, and you didn't, and that's fine. And that's again why I love doing this fucking show. But a lot of the reaction to it, I don't know, and this is something that people in the chat or the comments can say. Is it a great representation of what was on paper? And so, yeah, that's just more of a question. So, but yeah, what did Joe think, Cattigat? Okay, so we continue with this. She wants the generator. She wants the generator back on because she wants to watch her movies. So we go.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares that there's no gas in 25 fucking miles? And I need to keep the fridge. Well, you need to keep the fridge cold, don't you? Them shits fucking don't take long to heat up once they're turned off.
No, I mean, and what was different that day than other days because they had sex and he lost track of it or something? Like, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. The
power just went out. Like, yeah, they ran out of gas.
They ran out of gas in that situation. So we
watched a movie and fucked.
So we go off to Negan checking gas for cars. He found something good, which is the weed that he gets later. Then he wakes her up. He found some weed.
What James Bond movie did they watch?
They didn't. They just started fucking.
Was it Daniel Craig getting her hot? Or was it
Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan?
It was Connery. It's got to be Connery, right? I mean,
Connery?
Yeah, you got it.
Nah, Daniel. It's got to be Daniel at this day and age. The young girls don't like Connery like the old.
Cattigat says who's one of our comic readers. I didn't read the Here's Negan comic book because it didn't really interest me, to be honest. Walking David, I honestly did really like Jeffrey D. Morgan in this episode. The dude is a solid actor. Did he have amazing writing to work with? No.
What?
Did he deliver an amazing?
What did you just read?
I'm reading David's comment. Let me finish it.
Honestly, did really like
him, Jeffrey D. Morgan
in the episode. Did. You said did. Okay.
This dude's a solid actor. Did he have amazing writing to work with? No. Did he deliver a performance? I say yes. Some of the episodes.
Yes, it was a performance, David. Yes. Okay.
They could do a This Is Us style prequel, says Ian. Merle says also, okay. They got high and overslept. Gordon, we got Gordon Shumway, hide your kitties. We got Alf in the live motherfucking chat. It was Negan should have added salt to the ice, which would have lowered the temperature, says Ahmed. Dropping the knowledge. So they find some weed. She's like,
it's not just for cooking meth.
And he says 3 more treatments and you'll be okay. They cuddle and he sings to her the highlight song of the night, Joe.
So beautiful to me.
Yeah, Joe.
Can't you see,
Joe?
You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. 'Cause you are
Why
so
does
Beautiful
it burn
to me. Why is your ass
when I
burning?
pee?
Prune juice, Joe. Get some fucking prune juice.
That's a penicillin shot, dude.
Well, you need prune juice after the penicillin shot.
And it's cranberry juice for urinary tract.
Oh, yeah, well,
it's prune juice to get shit moving.
Okay,
man.
thank you. I don't know.
You call me before you go.
I will.
Start doing any kind of holistic shit.
Before I start juicing. So,
yes, please.
Okay, so they have some weed, they cuddle, he sings beautiful. They wake up the next day and she tells him about the walkers are not humans and he doesn't want to get used to the world like this. She eats some dog food and she likes it and she has a good sense of humor. It's an anniversary present. She gives him back the leather jacket that we find out later that she took from him. And
okay.
And she hit it. Just let me finish. She hit it because she was pissed. They talk about the credit card bill, and it doesn't really matter. She feels guilty, and he says, "I should apologize to you. You shouldn't apologize to me." And they give this emotional look, and then she gives him a pep talk about that he's a good man, and they smoke weed together, and they bang, 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 bang. Joe.
Yeah. Okay. First off, the dog food. Secondly, the weed. Don't let me forget. Secondly.
Okay. Of
First
course.
Off,
how could I forget the second?
We're talking about 6 months ish after the fall, right? So like this is right around the time in my head anyway, I'm putting it there because it's just fun to think about this kind of shit, that Rick is knocking the can of dog food out of Carl's hand in the house there, season 3 opener.
Oh yeah, I forgot
about that. Pointed out.
I forgot about that.
So like it's a roughly around the same time they're having a nice candlelight dinner, eating dog food, and our group right now should be right around that after the farm. They're in that house eating the owl and not the dog food.
Yeah, no dog food. Atari that doesn't solve my. I can attest to the majority of the teachers owning a ukulele. It's teaching 101. In the comics, all I remember was Negan's wife, Lucille, dying in a hospital from cancer, and she comes back as a walker, and then he kills her in the end. We got the glasses half empty. Thank you so much for joining us, Glasses Half Empty. We got a bunch of voicemail we will be playing in a moment here. Let's continue.
We got some chat stuff we gotta focus on for a second here.
What's
we had
that,
it mentioned. Pour some salt on it. It'll make the ice stay colder. And then Atari Dice says, doesn't salt melt ice? Well, the interesting thing here is, yeah, salt will melt the ice. It's adding salt to water before you freeze the water makes the temperature have to be lower to freeze it in the first place. So that would have been when you would do that. As far as my chemistry in high school 25 years ago.
Science. Some good science, bitch, there. Okay, so she gives them a pep talk.
There, Jason Voorhees with even more knowledge kicking. Salt doesn't melt ice below -7 degrees. Wow. Freezers, typically, I don't know how cold they get, -0. So.
Okay, so before we continue,
-0, but
we're at about the halfway point of the recap here. While we're waiting on the halfway point, let's play a couple of voicemails here. This, I believe, this first one is from Jay. So let's listen to Jay's voicemail in its entirety.
Hey, I will say this to The Walking David. Don't you think years of being in a zombie apocalypse without the man that she loved more than anyone, probably more than like her sister and her father, by the point that Glenn died would affect her in years after, even if like to the point where she could change her mind about Negan and think that she made a mistake in letting him live. That's the conclusion I come to. I mean, like, it's been years and years. It's like Maggie didn't have to, like, just because Maggie made a choice at one point didn't mean she didn't change her mind. All right, later.
Okay, and then we got this one.
Yeah,
Joe.
absolutely.
Oh, sorry about that. So David, we got a little call out for you in that one, and we got this voicemail right here from 587.
Please stand and move your hat and bow your head in a moment of silence. For tonight, we have lost a great hero. A hero that took out an idiot who climbed under a dumpster and a man with red hair. We don't trust that man with red hair.
We were saying goodnight
So
to
let's
Lucille.
have a moment of silence.
It's toast.
For the ones we lost tonight, we lost Lucille.
Lucille.
And no, not the woman, the bat. Rest in peace, Lucille, wherever you are, up there in bat heaven. You son of a bitch. You beautiful barbed wire son of a bitch.
You bitch.
God bless and Godspeed. And God bless the United States of America.
Thank you for that wonderful eulogy to Lucille, a bat that needs to be remembered. Another voicemail. We're going to clear the decks of the voicemails here. Here's another voicemail from Jay.
I hate to agree with Joe somewhat, but
Whoa. I got to hear the beginning of that voicemail again. I love how he says, I hate to agree with Joe somewhat. Let's
I love voicemails that start like that.
Listen to how he starts this voicemail, Joe.
I hate to agree with Joe somewhat, but if they'd have done the 6 like flashbacks of like the original 6 or whatever, so you probably would have included Glenn, I definitely would have watched that one episode. That would have gotten a Walking Dead person who stopped watching their show back to at least watch one episode.
Great voicemail, but I love how he says, I hate to kind of agree with Joe. He doesn't quite agree with you. He hates to kind of agree with you.
Somewhat.
Yes, like, wow,
Right,
I
and
agree
that's
with
just
Joe.
it. You might not, and that's it. When you know what episode is about to air, like for what I was saying, you might not want to watch like Bob's 6 weeks beforehand, right? But hey, you want to know what fucking Carol's life was like 6 weeks prior.
No, absolutely. And I do think maybe after The Walking Dead is over, when I keep talking about an anthology series that I would love to see with some of the main actors coming back, not necessarily a spin-off series with Daryl and fucking Carol, or a spin-off series with Negan with the flashbacks of the Saviors, like an actual anthology series, like a Tales from the Crypt, Amazing Stories kind of series where each week was a different, or maybe some weeks it was a 2 or 3 episode arc where a season was a few different stories in the Walking Dead universe from different time periods in the midst of the zombie apocalypse, either right before, during, or at any point in time within it. Be careful, Joe, because Joe will go in a rant and Merle the Avatar. Tim will show up in a cloud of smoke and ninja everyone because JDM is great. And we got one more voicemail right now before we get back into our recap.
Hey, I just had a quick question, you guys. Why did they have it to where that ex-savior or whatever in the past give him the bat and not Lucille? I thought that would be part of it, you know what I mean? Like maybe he's not good at fighting off the walkers, and so she just goes like, you know, I was saving this for a special occasion, kind of like what she did with the jacket. I mean, she gave him a jacket, but why didn't she give him the bat? Because then why?
Oh, sorry, David, but just to jump on your point, before I lost my train of thought because I'm a stoner, they could have done that scene, maybe, I mean, she's weak, but they could have done the scene where she shoots the walker. Instead of shooting him, she sneaks up behind and bashes the walker over the head with a bat and then hands him the bat. Try this next time or something. And it could have been could have been a little bit more personally attached to her.
Well, and then there was a thing. Okay, no, and see, I like that because they also talk about the pump. There's a problem. It's easy unless there's a problem with the pump, right? And her swinging the bat to kill the fucking walker could have broken the pump, and he had to fix the pump, right? Because they talk about the pumping the infusion meds, right? Did they? Or am I confusing?
No, he did.
Show?
He said at one point in time that he learned how to do that when he was talking to the other doctor.
The doctor, right? And that could have been the. That all makes more sense than it was. I want to talk about. Keep going.
Okay, so get back.
I'm gonna forget all this shit that I want to talk about because I'm trying to wait to the right time.
Oh no, what do you want to say? Talk about
no.
Okay, so he wakes up and the fridge is not cold. The medicine is fucked. They look at each other in a panic, and then Negan starts. Negan starts formulating a plan, and this is where we get into the thing from earlier.
Do you go,
Joe?
Okay. You have to go anyway to look for supplies, right? And you have to go further out anyway to look for supplies because we already established now that there ain't shit in town anymore. So yes, I go because I'm also looking for more gas for the generator, more food for us, more everything for us, right? That we do need. So there is an element of I have to go out to scavenge anyway. So I'm going to go in that direction. I might be out for a little longer. However, when it flashes 6 weeks later, and then he's running into fucking gangs and all this shit, like, your wife's at home fucking dying.
Yeah, how is he gone for 6 weeks? Yeah.
Do you want to be her hero? Because bringing home the meds to a dead woman or a woman that's been fucking puking and is about to fucking die and that's been alone for the last, 2 months? 2 fucking months? Come on. Be her hero and be there with her. She asked you not to go.
Yeah, at that point, turn around. Stop being obsessed with it.
And she exclaimed, that was our last bullet.
I said stop.
So she's got, her options. At some point, she's going to be thinking, he ain't coming back. It's been a month. It's been 6 fucking weeks. He's not coming home. What other outcome option does she have at that point? I'm gonna fucking die of cancer. I'm not gonna wait this out. I'm not gonna wait out this pain and suffering alone.
And she in this scene says, "I have to tell you something." And then we get the flashback of the pre-apocalypse situation where we hear Negan acting like a
such a pussy. This is how you get better. You gotta take it.
Are you playing with children?
Teenagers, I think, mostly. All right, yeah.
All right,
Jump out, this is how you get better.
5-year-olds and 10-year-olds.
Yeah, 5-year-olds.
I swear at them. Yeah. I swear at those little kids. I'm like, your motherfucking hates you. Your parents are awful, kid.
How come the characters don't search pockets of every walker they kill? I'm sure 5 times out of 10 they're carrying something valuable, says Ahmed.
Right? Like a pocket knife. Like bullets.
Have they ever played the Friday the 13th video game? You check everything.
Unreal. Seriously.
Okay.
There's so much. I mean, there's so much wrong with so much of what they do and don't do.
Atari Dad, I'm very worried about the copyright strikes from the songs. So she gets pissed off at him about buying a leather jacket, and he threw away the receipts. He got fired. We get the little story that he gets fired. She's talking to her friend about how Negan is immature, but he beats the shit out of some guy for her in a club that we find out later that she kind of appreciates. It's like that guy was asking to get his ass kicked anyway. So then Negan's making food. He's a house husband. He's trying something special. He's putting a little reduction. He's been watching a little bit of the Food Channel. He's been watching Gordon Ramsay cooking shows. So he's doing reductions. It was a little subtle touch in his performance there. And David, I do see that your other half of your voicemail. I'll play it at the next break. And if anyone else wants to call in, 781-990-8509. So Negan he's making food, and she says, you have to come with me tomorrow for my MRI appointment. And he makes up an excuse that he needs to go to his probation officer and can't go that day. So we flash over to the next scene, which is her getting her diagnosis. And it's a tough moment. Being in that position before, too. It's just being in that moment when the doctor's telling you everything else stops. You start thinking about you just need to talk to people. And she reaches out to call him. He doesn't answer. She calls her best friend that we talked to in a different scene earlier, who also doesn't answer.
Neither's where they're supposed
And
to
then she
be.
calls the probation officer to talk to Negan that way. And the probation officer says, Negan didn't have an appointment for another month. And she puts it all together. Now, they don't say it, but I think the actress does a good job in her performance, declaring that there was already something. She's yelled at Negan for flirting with this girl before. This isn't the first suspicion. She just suddenly puts two and two together. There was enough of a look in her eye like, oh my God, they're doing it again. Or it confirmed her suspicions of something in that moment.
I didn't catch that.
I felt like the actress gave a little bit of that look. You couldn't just immediately put two and two together in that way. I feel like maybe they flirted at a party, and I don't know. I feel like she was playing that a little bit, but that could be me projecting. It could be me projecting.
Well, I mean,
so Negan was an uncharacteristically kind to Carl because he was a gym teacher. So does the gym teacher thing with Negan fly for you? Does he seem like someone that would have been a gym teacher?
Well, he's certainly, like, gym teachers, aren't they notorious bullies? Notorious for being bullies. They pick on they pick on kids during gym class. They call kids out
of our age.
Kids who are very, very nerdy, right? Who are obviously not athletically inclined, we'll call it. And they call them out and they force them to do things. Maybe things have changed since we were kids.
I was just going to say that if, in fairness, you're speaking of gym teachers of our age. I don't know what gym teachers are like nowadays.
No, I never had, in my high school, the gym teacher wasn't quite like that.
Because he was actually when I grew up in my normal public school situation, the gym teacher did not, at the time I was growing up, the gym teacher did not need to get the same kind of licensing in shit that other teachers in the school. Where now, I believe a gym teacher still has to actually
needs a master's.
Yeah, needs to get a teaching license and a master's and shit. So but when we were kids, it didn't. They were just the dudes.
That's in this state.
Right.
That's in this state.
But I'm speaking specifically about I'm speaking about what's in front of me. And I would say back then it was the dude in town that worked for the DPW that was the captain of the football team that eventually works and ends up being the gym teacher or some stupid shit like that.
Or a cop.
Yeah, or something like that. Okay, so Negan sure likes to rant like a gym teacher, says Ahmed. I wonder if anyone else will steal my phone, says Jason. My gym teachers were usually military-type guys, says Cattigat.
Yeah, and that's another thing that doesn't really vibe to me is that it's not within his character to use hands if he was a gym teacher.
I mean, because
one of the things in most gym curriculums, didn't you have a wrestling day? Didn't you guys do
wrestling?
But they pulled out wrestling mats?
But in fairness, it had to do with his wife, and he doesn't fuck with that shit. So Negan's
nobody fucks it, especially when it comes to your wife. You put hands on, right?
So she finds out that he's a cheating. She finds out he's a cheating fuck as she gets her diagnosis, and she hears on the radio reports of walkers eating flesh to start the apocalypse, and she's like, "Fuck this, no!" As you said, she turns off the radio and she moves on. So, and then she's waiting for him in the next scene with a gun in one hand and the cancer pamphlet in the other hand, and he comes home and she's giving him the look. What the fuck?
Jason Voorhees says, "Those who can't teach, or those who can't do teach. Those who can't teach,
teach Jim. Teach Jim." I like that. Okay, so she tells him she's sick, and instead of shooting him, good choice. And yeah, and then we get the flashback to him and her, and he says, "You knew the whole time." And
of course I did.
And
no, well, if I didn't, I definitely know now.
And no, because she obviously talked to the girl about it, because he says, "I also broke it off completely once you got your diagnosis," and she says, "I know that too." So she probably confronted.
Of course, she probably went and beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, she probably confronted the friend. Yeah, she probably went
smacked that bitch.
Yeah, went all glow. The first.
She was like, "Dude, I heard that people would fucking turn into zombies." So I was like, "You know what?
Yeah, perfect opportunity."
Dying, this bitch is dying.
Yeah, she killed her. Yeah, she did kill her probably. And then she says, "Let me die. I want."
Dude, the radio broadcast when she gets in the car is like, "People are eating people." She's like, "Fuck that! I need the radio." She goes home. I'm sure she fucking saw the news. Dude, you are in your car. I know you broke it off. I know you haven't fucking talked to her. You know how I know? Because I killed that bitch. day fucking one that I figured you guys were fucking. When you got home, we fucking had, I had dinner on the table for you, whatever it was. Next morning, I woke up, I went and fucking killed that bitch. Made her eat her whole fucking family.
Atari Dad wonders, did she have the gun on the table? Because at that point, as Joe said, she watched the news and realized the world was going to shit. And she was trying to think about how she wanted to handle the situation.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. She was either going to do him in, do herself in, maybe or just hoping that a zombie wasn't going to walk through the fucking door.
Negan should definitely.
She had been watching the news.
Negan should definitely be happy that that Chris Hansen was Negan. We got to talk to you about some of those emails you've been, or some of those audio chats you've been doing with kids in your Warzone games. We need to talk about your Rainbow Six playing, Negan. And yes, Boston fucking Celtics, my friend. Go Celtics. Okay, so Negan decides.
Wait, what happened with the Celtics?
Oh no, I have a Celtics banner, and someone in the chat said "Go Celtics."
Okay.
So it did happen. Very different than the comics. He is like, I broke it off. She's like, I know. She says, let me die. And he says, no, we're not giving up ever. Okay. So your partner says that to you, Joe. Just let me die. I want to give up. I'm done. Stay home. Stay with me. Don't go out and get the fucking medicine. Do you stay with her?
Here's, like I said, at that point, there might not be a harm in the white lie of I will stay with you, but scavenging, I'm going to be a day or two.
Right. Leave and stretch that to a week. And if you don't find anything in a week, get your ass home.
Get the fuck back. Right.
Yeah.
If I'm not back in 7 days, you don't just leave. I'm going to go and not come back until I find it and like let this person sit on the edge of it. Like, that's horrible.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Absolutely.
No one to blame but yourself. Yeah, sure, go kill those fucking guys. Don't get me wrong. You owe the doctor that. You owe yourself that. You owe your wife that. But you also need to be realizing that bag on her head and cuffed to the bed is your fault. That she is in that position and not at least holding you right now. Hoping that you found a little bit of gas to watch James Bond again.
Yeah, so she can enjoy the last couple of weeks of her life or months of her life.
Some other DVD that you fucking plucked out of the house, right? Exactly. Like, this woman's not going to have long, and there's no guarantee that this chemo is working, and you're not going to find anywhere with enough power to run the kind of machines you need to know if this woman's cancer is gone or not. Like,
yeah, you're assuming a lot that those treatments are actually even working.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and if they don't work, you're just prolonging, and you're making her suffer through all this chemo and then suffer through all the cancer instead of just suffer through all the cancer and be with this person that you supposedly love with all your heart, even though you're cheating on her.
Yeah. Yeah, and with her best fucking friend. Now, Gary,
with her best fucking friend.
Gary, thank you so much. As bad or good as we get, I think both Joe and I are excited to talk about the last 24 episodes, or with Joe probably 12. The last 12 more episodes of The Walking Dead after this, but the last 24 episodes of The Walking Dead. And yes, to someone who asked in the live chat, JP, Joe was with a crow. The crow is in her nest off screen somewhere. You can occasionally hear her whistle in the background. So we go back to the doctor and Negan finishing the whole story in the flashback. The second flashback, or is it the third? Whatever. It's Negan and the doctor talking, and Negan finishes the whole story about how 6 weeks ago he got his stuff and he just wanted to help. So the doctor gives him his gun back, warns him about the bikers, and then the girl gives him the bat that he eventually falls in love with the bat. So then we flash back to the next flashback. This is where it gets a little confusing. Now we go back to the bikers who are just like, dude, they're like Joe Dirty Locks here.
All you've done is told me one stupid, pointless story after another. First, you wouldn't talk. Now, I'm begging you to shut up. The story time is...
Merle.
He does sound a little bit like Merle.
Yeah.
So he's...
Either you tell me where you got him, or I pull this trigger and your wife dies thinking you ran out on her. I'm not even gonna count. If you don't...
So eventually he does tell him, and then he gets back to the place where his wife is at, and he looks around, and he finally comes into a room, and he sees...
Do you tell him? I'd have told him right off the bat. Dude, you want to know everything? I'll tell you fucking everything. Listen, I got to get my fucking 2 bags. That's where the rest are. Back to my fucking wife.
That is the... I mean...
You want a nice brand new leather fucking coat? Get those patches on this? Come on. It's Italian leather, baby.
You draw him a detailed
from
map.
My wife cost $600.
Here's some vodka I've been saving just for such an occasion.
Right? Come on, there's got to be like, no, I don't rat him out. I just say I found the fucking things. I've been searching hospital after hospital, and I'm on my way back with them.
Merle Davis says, "Yeah, Joe, she wants to cuddle up and watch Live and Let Die." Glass Half Empty says, "In The Last Man on Earth, they found power in the first season." Joe, what do you expect and want for next season? We'll ask Joe. Joe, think about that as before we.
Yeah, I saw that. I've been thinking.
Yeah, for the end, we'll both say that.
That's a big question.
That's a big question.
24 episode season.
Yeah.
The biggest season ever of The Walking Dead.
It's like an episode. It's like a
season 1 was 6 episodes.
Joe, it's like a season of 24. I know that was horrible. I need like a comedy drum sound for that.
Why would you say that?
It's because it's stupid.
It is. You know what? It is like a season. It has been. You're right, Phil. This has been like a few seasons of 24.
Joe, it's like a season of 24.
Horrible.
Okay. So then we get into this whole end thing where he finds his wife, and she's suffocated herself after taking a bunch of pills in the bed. Who knows how long? It doesn't look like the zombie turn is super fresh. I think he missed her by a couple weeks. If he was gone 6 weeks, he probably missed her by 2 weeks or so.
Exactly. Like, how long did you expect her? She had already said to you, I need you to start fighting for me. Like, I need you to stay. I need you to fight for me. I can't do this. And he got up and fucking walked out for almost 2 fucking months.
All for this. Wait.
Is that the music they were playing?
Yeah. I like this. This is funny.
Oh, okay.
You
That's it.
And he has a romantic, sensitive moment that is not completely dissimilar to Perry Farrell in The Gift when Casey.
Oh, that was so sweet.
And this is similar. This is a similar scene, Joe. Why is it sweet with Perry and it's?
They both light candles.
Yeah, they do. You see the parallel. It's a very similar scene. Oh yeah, baby.
Nobody in the chat has seen Gift Film.
No
this
one's
is just
seen.
a joke for us.
No,
I love it.
In fairness,
it.
I bet at the course of the entire existence of this video in the podcast, someone will throw in the comment section. Someone will get it. So
no.
Devin was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still watching. Devin might get it.
Devin in there, so Devin has definitely seen Gift. But like outside of our circle of friends,
obviously
man,
the rock.
You're digging deep.
Obviously. Do you think the
indie music film of an indie alt band from 30 years ago?
The question is, did the writers see it? Okay, so
they must have, dude.
That's the real question. But anyways, continue. So sorry, continue. Okay, so then we get this whole big sort of Negan birthing scene, like the Negan we see earlier in the season, him turning himself. The song "You Are So Beautiful" comes on and plays. He puts the biker jacket on. He goes outside with strike this, reverse it. He goes outside with the bat. He grabs the barbed wire off of it. He wraps the bat. He goes inside, puts on the leather jacket, pours gasoline all over his wife and all over the scene, lights a match, walks out of there in the burning flames with the intensity of the music in this big, almost emotional apex of a moment, Joe. It was a really intense moment as Negan is birthed from the fire, metaphorically. Wasn't it a beautiful scene, Joe? Talk about how beautiful that scene was.
Negan rises from the ashes. I already. You want to know what I think about this scene?
I do,
man.
Joe.
Watch the first 3 minutes of this podcast.
People might just be tuning in. Talk about why this is a beautiful scene, Joe.
Oh man, it's just. I think it's horribly done. Like, again, how long was he sitting there watching his wife, where the flames are licking out the front fucking door? The front fucking door, which is a Dutch door for some reason. Like, I don't understand that. Like, he's poking the door is on fire. The frame of the door is on fire, and he's walking out of the house. Like, pack your bag before you made your bat. You put on your coat. Like, just doesn't suffocate from any of the fumes, but the flames are already that fucking deep.
And
just very ridiculous scene. I thought it was awful. But here's the thing: when he lit her on fire, my first thought was, yeah.
That's easier. It's an easier way of doing that.
That's the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Okay, I don't want her to suffer. Wait a second. But do I want to bash her fucking brains in right now? No, pretty much don't want to do that. So no matter what, I'm gonna have to like violently kind of hurt. Do I bury her? I'm never gonna fucking visit the grave. Wait. I can cremate her by burning down the whole fucking house. Perfect. Done.
The Night King can't raise her afterwards too, which really helps the situation too.
Right. Done. I like the thinking on his part. Just, you make sure that she's on like the first floor, right in the middle of the fucking house, so that the whole thing burns and then falls on top of her. Right. You don't want to like have your wife's charred corpse walking around town in
now,
like 2 or 3 days.
Two things from the chat. First of all, Atari Dad, I honestly think the half door thing was a rigged prop that just didn't work too well. And second, we've got a question from Michael Jackson, who asks, why do you think the writing is so horrible, Joe? I want to know. He wants to know.
Okay, I think it's so horrible because the source material, as good as the artwork is and the story kind of is to begin with, is written for a prepubescent male audience, right? There happens to be a lot of older people that have that kind of mentality who liked the comics, so I can't say that that's a bad thing, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the most dynamic writing. Now, that source material was taken and played with and remolded by a man named Frank Darabont into a really beautiful fucking thing. And then it was taken and perverted by people who thought they knew what they were doing, who might be talented in their own right, but had bigger things in mind concerning dollar signs rather than artistic integrity of what they were producing. And the show started to suffer. The writing started to suffer. I think they started hiring people with or allowing this cliched television trope writing to permeate throughout, as evidenced by the Glen under a dumpster or various other things that we've talked about, even as far as like, we need to have an epic ending scene, so we'll have Negan kicking open the bottom half of a door and punching open the top half of it with his newly made Lucille and emerging from the flames. And it just, to me, that doesn't play right. Like, it really doesn't. I would have rather seen him standing outside the fucking house with a fucking bag and watching the house slowly burn.
It played more as a music video in that moment than a scene that makes sense as a... and that's why I say the editing, I enjoyed it as a music video. It was a music video for You Are So Beautiful. It wasn't a scene that necessarily makes rational sense. And I thought it was effective as a force of nature more than a makes sense scene. But I definitely get your point, and I just wanted...
Well, there's more to it. I got a little bit more to that question. There's also the common sense aspect of people's behavior. Like someone mentioned in the chat earlier about, why don't people check the pockets of all these fucking dead zombies? Yeah, it's gross. But a fucking pocket full of bullets, like I said, is a fucking find. And it might only be 1 in 1,000 fucking corpses, but it's 1 in 1,000 corpses that gives you 6 or 20 extra fucking bullets, right? There's so many things like every time they walk into a room, I see so many drawers shut, not open, not ransacked, that never get poked or looked into, and shit like this. So many little things, just little things, that
Speaking of a little thing, I want to read one comment to you too. Joe, you're going off on a fire scene, not being realistic in a show about dead people coming back to life. Love you, but come on, man.
You know what? There is an aspect of that, right? There's an aspect of everything. All the shows on television are just shows on television. They're just fictional stories about something. So when do we decide like when realism should be realism and realism shouldn't be realism? This is supposed to be a drama show, not Z Nation, which is a comedy show which doesn't take itself seriously. And you have never heard me say a disparaging word about any of the. I don't give a fuck that they don't search
and
on Z Nation.
To your point before, Med says they might even have a bottle of Advil or some cocaine in your pocket. And
exactly like the baby zombies running around and chewing their way out of pregnant moms on Z Nation. Fucking awesome. Love it. Fucking absolutely stupid.
No, and that's
greatest shit ever.
That stuff works really well in Santa Clarita Diet as well. Okay, so Atari Dad says, Frank Darabont didn't do everything right. I hated how intelligent the zombies were in season 1, climbing fences. Rewatch season 1. The zombies act way too human. Apparently, he was going to expand upon that if he had stayed on, he said.
See, I don't mind that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to me. Yes, and what's his name's wife is looking at the house where his wife and kid are, and she tries the door handle once or twice. Like, to me, there's not necessarily something bad about a residual effect of human life being there, of daily things or driving motivations in their subconscious animated.
But good, but awesome,
whatever.
Awesome question, Michael Jackson. Glass half empty. I would be looking for weed all the time. And very good. Very good answer. Very good answer as well, Joe. Very detailed, good answer. So Santivia, great to see you. Okay, so the song, we're almost at the end of the episode here, and then we got a bunch of voicemails to catch up on, and you guys in the live chat to a few more stuff. And if you have any more beefs or questions for Joe, make sure you throw it in the live chat or the comment section.
The real easy answer of they just hired awful fucking writers.
So we get You Are So Beautiful. He heads out the door. He busts out the fire. He's Negan. So now he's gonna go save the docs. So Joe, do you go and save the doctors now? So
I'm not even thinking the doctors are still alive, and I'm half thinking at this point, hopefully I get there before they've already gone to whatever warehouse to go rob that the doctors have their meds and stash in that she said she came back from with the 2 bags, right? So I'm hoping I just get there in time to kill these motherfuckers. I don't even know if those 2 are still alive yet, right? like that's not like as my thinking at this point, wrapping that bat and getting ready to go kill them is those motherfuckers made me miss my wife's last day, and killed the nice doctor and raped the nice girl that gave me the meds to hopefully keep my wife alive, which I wasn't able to do because those 2 guys wanted to rob and rape the 2 nice people. I'm going to go kill them. Oh, bonus, they're still alive.
Now, Atari Dad says, I just hate the whole residual memories things because it drags the whole thing out. No, I can't kill them. They're people thing. And so he goes and he saves the docs. Then he comes in. Negan kills the first human with Lucille. That Lucille tastes some blood. Then he gets to another dude. Negan then takes the other dude out. The doctor's almost freeing himself with that screw that they focused on in the Negan scene, too. I forgot to mention that earlier. And the biker is not sure what's going on outside. And he sees that the doctor's starting to bust out of the chair. For some reason doesn't do anything about it, and he just kind of listens to what's happening outside. Then Negan comes in and saves the doctor. He hands him and the doctor breaks out and does his thing. They leave the biker down on the ground subdued, and Negan comes in. Time for what Joe's been waiting for all episode long, and it is our Negan monologue here. So let's.
Before that monologue, Atari Dad, it may drag that out, but they managed to do that anyway. Whisper storyline.
Now, to answer Santavia's question in the live chat that she asked, was this episode good or did this episode suck? As you can see in the live chat, people's opinions of that on the panel that we have between Joe and I, which is always more fun. Not that I want to set up any natural disagreement between Joe and I. When we never, he's accused me of doing it before, of like fake liking something to
goading me into.
But no, if I like something, I like it.
Most of the time, you won't hear me make that claim often. Phil and I do have very similar tastes in shows, in art, in music, in all sorts of things. But when we have very big differences as well.
Right, exactly. And he's accused me occasionally of faking it, but usually if we agree, or we're disagreeing, it's a natural disagreement. And in this particular situation, Joe and I legitimately disagree. I actually really liked this episode, and I thought it was one of the 2 good ones of these last 6. I didn't like it, and Joe thinks
it's the second best. I'll give you that.
It's the second best. I also agree.
It's the second
best. I also agree
it's
the second best. This is where I have the unpopular opinion. I would say my favorite episode of the season is still the Gabriel and the Aaron Terminator 2.
Mine too.
I think that's my favorite of the season.
That's the best episode in 4 seasons.
It's the one I enjoyed the most too. But this is a close second to me in this half season. And Ahmed asks, how come you've never reviewed Shameless? That show is right up your alley. Shameless is a Phil kind of show.
Shameless was fucking awesome.
I've watched every episode.
For like the first
it's fine.
5 or 6 seasons.
I will say this. Shameless is about to do its last season, right? Coming up. And I've definitely still caught up and I've watched it. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still, Frank's still awesome. But
up until like the cancer lady dies.
Right.
That's when I stopped.
My whole point is when it's all said and done, Joe and I will do a rewatch review of Shameless.
Tell me, NYPD Blue, fat fuck's wife doesn't have a fucking fantastic rack of tits, dude. Oh, when she was sleeping with Lip, I was psyched. I was like, oh.
Joe is drunk. Centuvia, it was
talking about that lady, the professor lady.
Be careful. Your crow has ears, Joe. Do you think?
Oh, dude from fucking Black Sails sucking his own cock.
So JP says they were worried about the artistic integrity. They would have planned on the show being over in 5 seasons. Can't blame them for wanting the money, all they could make. I agree with most of the problems Joe points out, but I just don't think they were major problems. This was my favorite episode of the 6.
Listen, no, okay.
No.
I mean, there's things that are going to make it somebody's favorite episode, and we can overlook all of the problems in all of the episodes, right? Ultimately, we're still watching 10, 11 years later, right? This is not ultimately this is all has devolved into what I think is very bad television. But there are things about it that I still like, that I still, as horrible as I think these episodes are, I still enjoy. I still enjoy
stuff to get off my chest this time.
You still enjoy watching The Walking Dead.
You still enjoy listening.
Morbidly, maybe it's like I enjoy watching The Walking Dead, like when you have pins and needles in your foot. Like I enjoy leaning on my foot to, and feeling.
You like biting that canker in your mouth a little bit.
Gnawing that little fucker.
Yeah, gnawing the fucker to get that little pain rush and stuff. Okay, so speaking of that little pain rush, Joe, I want you to carefully listen to the vocal stylings of Negan.
I never killed a man before tonight. It's the truth. Came close once. See, there was this bar.
Feel free to talk over it.
It was our
that
favorite
thing about seeing
bar.
red.
It had our favorite jukebox. Favorite jukebox because
so fucking true.
It had our favorite song.
You are so beautiful by the one and only Joe Cocker.
Dude, if some motherfucker was, if I found a jukebox, right, Phil, all right, if I found a jukebox that had 3 days on that motherfucker, and for any reason I'm in that bar without my fucking wife, and I put on 3 days, that's not even our song. That's my song. It's just my song. My favorite song.
You don't fuck with
put that song on, and some motherfucker is in the corner and he's yelling and who. I said, just it's only a few minutes. Can I just listen to this once? And he gives me fucking lip.
Beautiful wife Lucille
Would you be doing what Negan did?
goes over to where he is and politely asks him if he could keep it down so she could hear her song.
This would be. I haven't killed the second man until tonight.
I gotta get up. And I go over and I tell him that he owes me 50 cents.
He owes him 50 cents.
So I can.
I definitely take my 50 cents.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, I love how he leaves the dollar there.
And enjoy her song. Now here's the important part, and I really want you to pay attention to this. You know when people get so angry they say they see red? That shit is actually true. When this asshole comes at me.
So this is you like him better in this tone rather than sensitive Negan.
I like him better. See, there's this tone is not. They really hammered that shit. This part of Negan that we're kind of seeing the start of.
This is This is the first time we've seen it in a while.
Right, is the first time we've seen it in a while, but they really fucking hammered that shit over what 2-3 seasons. It was just like the bulk of the season, of every episode, therefore every season, were speeches like this from this guy, right? And it wore on me, and it was enough was enough. In this context, I'm not having a hard time with the way this scene plays out.
No.
I don't find a need to explain any of this shit to this dude. Like, no, I don't need to scare you. The fact that I'm standing here in front of you and all your people outside are fucking dead should be fucking scary enough. The fact that you like just walk right up and take his fucking head off. There is no need for any of this.
You know what the need is. The need is because we need to hear it.
No, this is the start of that clown, that cult of personality that he talks about earlier, right? That he's finally getting rid of, right? But this doesn't need to be the start of. I mean, it kind of does because they're wrapping it up. This is how Negan starts. But like, it would have been just as good. He walks in, like he hit that first dude in the head. He saw the blood on the bat. Like, yep, you hear more gunshots or whatever, and then he just walks in, walks straight to the dude, and done. There's no need for any of this. This is once again writers being all, we got to be writers and we got to write something to hear our pens hit the fucking paper or the click of the fucking keys, because it serves no purpose. For as far as like menacing, as far as like whether or not I'm scared of you, I'm more scared of somebody who commits action than someone who wants to talk first. That makes me want to talk back. I'm just gonna give him fucking lip. Aren't you, Phil? Aren't you gonna say, oh, blah, 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 blah.
No, Joe. No, Joe.
I was so mad. I beat somebody up. I'm a big tough guy. Now I'm gonna hit you with a bat. My wife is dead. Oh no! The big bad bikers stopped me. Right? Isn't that exactly what you do in that moment? You don't go, oh no, I'm scared. You tell the motherfucker, go fuck yourself. I'm a big bad biker. I don't want to listen to you. Eat dick, you fuckhead. Like, come on. No, Negan, you want to be menacing? You want to be a fucking tough guy? Go be a fucking tough guy. Kick in the fucking door like you did back at your burning fucking corpse of a wife's house, and poke in the top half, because why don't we make another Dutch door for some fucking reason? And then just walk straight across the room and beat the guy. Don't stop hitting. Don't just hit him once.
the fuck up,
Hit him
Joe.
until it's mush on the fucking floor. Make the doctor still in the room. I want him to puke.
Shut the fuck
Like,
up,
you
Joe.
see Negan walk in and just absolutely fucking destroy this guy's upper fucking torso,
Shut the fuck
mush
up,
on the
Joe.
fucking floor. Like, even you've already done 6 months earlier, 8 months, 12 years earlier. Put on the bottom 8
Shut the
minutes
fuck
fucking
up,
later,
Joe.
and then show legs. That's it. Just fucking legs. Meat all over the fucking room. Have the doctor's eyes big as fucking fuck, bulging out of his head, and then violently heave all over the fucking corpse that Negan has left.
Shut the
There you go.
fuck up,
That's
Joe.
your start of fucking Psycho Negan. That's your start of your cult of fucking personality. This shit that they did, another goddamn
the fuck
fucking
up,
menacing
Joe.
speech. Oh, about seeing red? Yeah, that shit's actually true. That's a fucking cocktail story. That's a bar story. That's not a.
Do you mean the movie Cocktail with
story? There is no I'm about
with
to beat you to death story. Any kind of words coming out of someone's mouth that's I'm about to beat you to death get nothing but mockery and ridicule. I'm gonna have you ever tried to berate somebody during a video game? No, all you get back is more berate from them, and I'll fucking kill you and burn your house down because they're 8,000 miles away and nobody gives a fuck. I'm just gonna fucking talk back to you. What, you think I think I'm gonna live if I don't talk back right now? Go fuck yourself, man. Nice Italian leather coat. Who the fuck are you trying to be, you piece of shit? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck your dead wife's burnt corpse. What else can I say to piss you off, to get you to fucking beat me to death? And shut the fuck up.
Fonzie. Okay, so we get a couple of things in the chat. First off,
Sorry, Big Kev.
no, that's okay.
I went all in. I'm so sorry.
Phil is always sensitive. Negan, Celebrity Bikini, I am so sorry if any of your comments are disappearing. If you see them on the screen, for some reason they just show the top chat on the screen. Sometimes they're actually still in the actual chat, and sometimes YouTube is destroying people's comments
on the side.
Yeah, sometimes YouTube is just deleting people's comments. And then we have 2 super chats from Big fucking Kev. Big Kev says, "Hey guys, it's 60 degrees here in fucking asshole in San Diego.
That's why the writing is so bad.
I'm not gonna lie, but Negan got me wet a few times this episode with his voice. Did you hear Robert Kirkman say the other day he might do a Negan or Carl spinoff in the comics? So very cool there. And Joe took a shot for you. And Big Kev put another super chat donation that said, "Joe, shut the fuck up."
Why Negan didn't set up shop in Boston.
So let me
Tough living in the north.
let me take a drink for Big Kev for the super chat. Thank you, Big Kev, for that super chat donation. We really do appreciate it. The support, it means a lot.
Some more here.
Yeah, we got to take a couple shots for Big Kev here.
I'm doing it fucking saloon style, straight out, sipping my Johnny Walker double black out of a shot glass. Loving it.
And this is why Negan didn't set up shop in Boston, was because of Joe. Big Kev says he loves you. We love you too, Big Kev.
The town is filled with me's, though. Like, I'm
Toast
a
to you, Big
mild
Kev.
mannered.
Thank
I'm
you,
a
buddy.
happy hippie. I'm a happy trippy hippie. Like,
oof.
Yep. Nope.
Sure. So then we get the Negan monologue as he ends that all up, and then he continues the story at the end here, and then we get back to real time finally as he says goodbye to his wife and his bat. Where I thought that maybe you would like this.
I liked it.
This final Negan monologue here, where he calls it a stupid bat and shit.
I was a coward. I couldn't face the pain of losing you, so I ran away.
Yep.
And then I made myself.
Oh, someone says no pan flute. I guess I could do a quick let's quick one of those for Big Kev too for the super chat donation. Let's see if this one works. There you go. Thank you so much, Big Kev, for the super chat donations. We really do appreciate it. And sorry for the silly ocarina inning. And we got a bunch of voicemails. We got Caddigat, David, Tim, and
Oh, wow.
And we got 4 voicemails. If anyone else wants to leave a voicemail right now, 781-990-8509. And also, I will be back next Sunday doing a podcast about something. Not sure exactly what yet. Maybe some Star Trek thing next Sunday. And then the following Sunday... and then
I know what you should do next Sunday.
Okay, we'll talk about that off the air.
Oh, no.
The following...
Okay.
The following Sunday...
We can't talk about off the air.
The following Sunday after that, Joe will be back with us for something.
Yeah, that's the one I got homework for you. And you can prepare all the way up until then.
Okay. So Negan
we'll tell everybody what that is.
Negan had a bat.
No, we can tell everybody right now. Let's tell everybody right now.
What is it?
There is a new show by Robert Kirkman on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It is called Invincible. New episodes pop up on Fridays. 4 have already dropped. Fuck yeah. Okay, all I'm saying, it's an animated series, cartoon. It has you're going to see characters in this that you're gonna be like, oh, that's the Superman knockoff, that's the Flash knockoff, that's the Wonder Woman knockoff. This is a Justice League knockoff, and it's gonna feel very much like you're watching the Justice League. Watch this shit. Don't stop the first episode. Watch the entire first episode and then tell me you ain't all fucking in. Tell me you ain't ready to go and watch the rest of this shit.
And I will end up giving you homework too.
It's only 25 minutes, Phil.
And then the following Sunday we will both talk about 2 different shows. We're going to turn Sundays until then into a Siskel and the Ebert at the movies kind of thing, where we talk about a couple different things and giving our quicker opinions in small blocks, and then we can edit them out for shorter videos. And also, I do want to talk to you a little bit at some point during that about Game of Thrones stuff as well. Yes, absolutely, Caddigat, episode by episode. We'll be doing every episode of that. We'll be doing every episode of the Game of Thrones spin-offs. We'll be doing the Lord of the Rings Amazon series when that shows up. We'll be doing a bunch. Anything else that pops up too that we want to do, but definitely be doing The Last of Us.
I also had a recommendation from this very chat of a show that I should watch, and they had mentioned it a couple of times, and I had said that I tried, and I kind of written it off. I am now knee deep into season fucking 4 of one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever fucking seen.
The Expanse?
Expanse.
Everyone tells me to watch The Expanse. I haven't given it a shot yet.
Oh, I know exactly. Everyone why, especially everybody in this chat's like, Joe, you need to watch.
Is it Babylon 5-ish? Is it Babylon 5-ish?
It's okay. So it's got V5 elements. Okay. It's got
quickly because we still have to finish the Walking Dead here.
There's so much about it. It's very dynamic.
Should I catch up so we can talk about it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it. Fine. That's all I need.
Very sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. A lot of people have tried to get me to watch that. Okay, so we go back to real time. He says goodbye to his.
Feel anything because I didn't want to feel the shame. The problem.
And I thought this was probably one of the better monologues of the episode.
That I still felt.
And he says goodbye to it, and he burns the bat. Sorry, I named you after a stupid bat. And we get a very raw personal performance by Jeffrey D. Morgan here.
And there was nothing in this episode.
That I named a stupid baseball bat.
Why? Why did he name it after her?
He's sorry, though.
What did she have to do with that fucking bat? She never even saw that fucking bat. Like, why didn't you name the bat Cancer Meds? Like, I don't understand. Like, name it after the Cancer Med chick that gave you the bat to go beat in the brains. Like, I don't understand why he named it Lucille.
Is that legitimate? Is Jeffrey D. Morgan joining season 3 of The Boys?
Yes, that's legit.
Oh my God!
Yes, that's legit.
He's gonna be awesome on that show.
He's gonna be very awesome. I can't wait to see him in The Boys acting with
Basher and Homelander and stuff. Yeah.
The Boys is great.
Yeah, it's one of the best shows. It's one of the best shows on television. Yeah, it's that we next season of The Boys, because they release it week to week. Joe and I will do reviews of it week to week. I was not set up on it. I had just moved at the time when they were doing it before. But when
do it week to week, and we'll do it like whatever
Friday. It's like
refreshing. In like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Thursdays into Fridays. Yeah. Like I'll figure out the work situation.
I can get I'll figure out mine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so
I'll try to make sure I can get that night.
Yeah, me too. I'll figure it out with work as well. So we go back to real time. He gives this performance, says goodbye, and he burns the bat. Says truly says goodbye to his wife, and then Negan walks back into town. Says to Carol, "Listen, I know this was all you're doing. Get my shit back to town. Get me a truck. I'm bringing my shit back.
Position a wagon to get my shit back."
Yeah, now, motherfuckers.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll do it. And he comes back, and then he smirks the fuck to Maggie, and he walks on. What the fuck, Joe? We talked about it at the beginning. You think the smirk is him just accepting the fact that Maggie's going to try to kill him and is like, bring it on. Is the Night King like, come on, bring it kind of vibe?
I think there's an aspect of that. I don't think he necessarily thinks that Maggie's gonna try to kill him. I think he probably thinks this is just gonna be a lot of bullshit. I know I'm getting under her skin, but I don't know the real reason for that smirk.
No, I don't know if it's an improv that they decided to keep. Oh wait, Joe, there was a little bit more of that monologue that we didn't quite hear. Let's listen to a little bit more of it.
So my wife and I, we were at this bar. And we loved going to this bar because they always played the show Blue Bloods. You ever see that show? It was good as shit. Tom Selleck is fucking amazing. But this guy couldn't stop talking during Blue Bloods. And I calmly come over and I say, "Hey, Blue Bloods is my wife's favorite show. She loves that Donnie Wahlberg, can't get enough of him. If you would be so kind as to shut your trap so that we could enjoy some Donnie Wahlberg."
Yeah, don't fuck with someone's Donnie Wahlberg. David can't continue. Big Kev with another super chat donation. Okay, guys, back to my poker tournament. I was on a break. Time to listen to some Fish live shows and some Grateful Dead. In 18th place of 81 players left, top 11 pay. Big Kev, hopefully you run really good in this cycle of the tournament. This is obviously the most important cycle. You're in position to win this thing. Kick some ass, Big Kev, for all of us. So because we're living vicariously through your poker playing right now. So.
Oh yeah.
So there's a little bit more information about what Negan was thinking right there. I knew Phil was gonna play something the moment they said a little bit more. Bye, Kev. See you again. And Big Kev will take one more shot for you before the end. Well, Laura was still around naming it, so it would be kind of weird. Someone also asked, didn't Negan have a bat during the Whisper thing? It was a bat that one of the Whispers gave him. It wasn't actually Lucille. Who, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, he made like a comment about it not being
Lucille. Yeah, don't mess with Wahlburgers. They're delicious. I love those fucking Wahlburgers. So yeah, that's the end of our episode, Joe, with Negan smiling at Maggie and the end of our season. So going into, before we get to our final voicemails here, what are you hoping with the final 24 episodes of The Walking Dead? To get back to that question that you've been ruminating, as Norm Macdonald will say. Have you been ruminating on that question, Joe?
I've actually been ruminating with that question for a couple months now.
Yeah, what do you want from the final season of The Walking Dead?
And there's a lot I want from it. To say the least, I want good storytelling. I want.
What do you realistically? Wait! Before you finish, what do you realistically want from the final season? you need to set. Sorry, continue.
I'd like to see absolutely everyone die, with the exception of course, Carol and Daryl, because they're gonna go do a spinoff.
Yeah.
Why not? Why? Like, I want to see them all die. I want to see them all die in horrific fashion. Maybe some in heroic fashion. Yeah. Maybe the spinoff isn't Carol and Daryl. Oh, this is what I want. This is where I want it to go.
Tell me what you want.
I want it to go.
Tell me what you want. What
Carol-
you really, really
Carol
want.
and the deaf chick. The deaf chick is found, right?
She already got found by the stranger.
By the stranger, right? But no, back at camp. We haven't seen her back at camp yet, right? So she's back at camp, and she's pissed at Carol, and Carol's like, "I'm sorry," but she's like, "Still go fuck yourself." And she and Carol start butting heads, and Carol kills her and goes on the run, and then everybody else dies, and Daryl takes off after Carol.
And then it's Daryl versus Carol.
Daryl versus Carol, baby.
1-on-1. Walking David.
Hunt across the fucking country on fucking motorcycle, back and foot or whatever, and
it would basically be Daryl running from Carol.
No.
Or the other way
Carol's
around.
running from Daryl.
Oh yeah, it'd be the other way around. I'm sorry. The other way. That's what I meant. Walking David. I like this idea. The bird lady go to bed very soon. Bird lady. I appreciate that. Celebrity Bikini's got a crash early day. Thanks for the video. Thank you, Celebrity Bikini, for popping on in. Sorry for YouTube being an asshole and deleting any of your comments, but it's great to see the bird lady in there. I stopped watching this after the How I Met the Dog episode. You're not messing. You mean the dog origin story, bird lady? You needed that. You needed the fucking.
We need a dog.
We needed that dog fucking origin story. I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone for stop watching, and I appreciate the people that stick with us, and I appreciate the people that like the show, that listen to us and hate watch us, or
hate watch us. Those are the best.
I love the hate watchers. I love you guys are beautiful. You guys are the most beautiful of all. So we got a few voicemails to play here. Let's listen to Caddigat's voicemail first. And let's see, let me put the volume up. Let's listen to what Caddigat has to tell us.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Caddigat here. Joe, I think you're going to have to call AMC and let them know your thoughts and your opinions, and you should get hired by them. I think you probably do a better job. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, do you think before this final season of The Walking Dead we need to call AMC one more time and leave them a voicemail about the situation? I forget the I wish we still had the voicemail number. I would definitely leave AMC another voice message. I love you, Bird Lady, as well. So Caddigat is requesting us. I will say that after the first half of the final season, because it's going to be split into a lot of breaks, we'll work on getting the number again for the next half of the season. If they don't start off this final season right and really kick our asses off the gates, Joe will call. He's going to call AMC again. It will happen. We just don't want to we don't want them to do something crazy like cancel Better Call Saul.
A little whiskey in me, a little couple sandwiches.
So should we?
In some bad enough episodes.
AMC.
See, here's the thing, that I'm damn positive, Phil. I know these writers. They watch our show. I know some of them are on here, watching our show. They're lurking in the background because I've definitely said that shit about seeing red when you're mad enough. I've definitely said that on air, and they put that right in the fucking show. Now, you've heard that before, I'm sure, maybe in other shows, maybe somebody else has told it to you, but I definitely fucking said it on this show. I definitely did. And man, it's just another thing they put in there. Just like when we talked about fucking Carol, and then they were like, okay, well, we gotta have her have a little scene where she gets cleaned up after the and 2 episodes later, there it was. You know it. You know they watch our show. We know they watch our show. Probably because we left that fucking voicemail.
It is. They've been hunting us. Wait, I'm calling. This is AMC. They won't pick up our call.
That's because we're talking about. They turned that shit off.
They did. They're blocking us.
They turned that shit off. We're talking about it right now. They were like, quick. Phil's looking up the number. Look at, he's barely paying attention. We're talking about finding the number. Phone's ringing. Quick. No.
They're afraid, Joe. They're not answering.
They're afraid.
And I looked it up. That was the number. You guys can try. They're afraid to answer the phone. I just tried. I legit just tried to call AMC, and let me make sure that's the number. So yeah. So let me see. That's press inquiries. No.
Carol.
Oh, holy shit!
Miss Kang.
Holy shit! We got another super chat donation from the Bird Lady, to my favorite hippies. Thank you so much, Bird Lady. Let me take one more shot for you. Toast it up. Thank you so much, Bird Lady. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
That's going to help me sleep better for work tomorrow. Yeah, answer the phone, Gimple. Why are you afraid? Jesus.
It's not Gimple. Gimple handed the phone over to Kang. Kang got so sick and tired of fucking picking up that phone of people trying to catch up and watching old Gimple shit and yelling at her. She was like, you know what? I'm going to turn that shit off.
Yeah, we got. Well, let's try one more time. Let's try one more time and see if they do before we play a few more voicemails. Cause
hey, we can call. Let's call the other fucker there, the ass licker, the after show, and we'll give him a piece of our fucking mind and tell him he can fucking get some tips on things to talk about by watching our show.
Oh, come on! They were having a wet dream. Wait. Oh. I feel like it's about to answer. No. I'm sorry, everybody.
I feel like it's about to answer. That's just awesome. I wish I had that fucking superpower.
Yeah, I feel.
I know when the phone is going.
No, they're blocking us right now. We're blocked. We've been blocked by. But thank you so much, Bird Lady. That super chat means more than you know. Thank you. Last week, Kang screwed you with Wi-Fi. Now she won't answer your calls. I know they had us disconnected last time. Okay, let's play another voicemail from our buddy. I'm not sure who's leaving this voicemail, but let's see who it is.
You're better than the best. I'm lucky just to linger in your light. Cooler than the flip side of my pillow. That's right.
Oh. So, and then of course, last but not least, and we still have the voicemail line open for a little bit if you want to call on in right now, or just throw us in any direction in the comment section. We're starting to wrap things up here. We're about 12:44 a.m. on the East Coast. We'll be stopping this at about 1 a.m. give or take. So if you have any last questions about this episode of The Walking Dead or any other topic you want to ask us about, now's the time when things are open. Joe and I might talk. Did you see King Kong and Godzilla?
No.
Okay.
Expanse. I've been watching The Expanse.
You've been Expanse land. Okay.
And The Invincible.
So you haven't been watching the Mighty Ducks reboot series?
No, dude, The Expanse.
Okay.
The Expanse is all The Expanse is really fucking good, dude. It's really
that's what,
good.
dude. That's what I've heard.
The things that they did.
Yeah. All right. So shut the fuck up, pal. Joe, didn't you fucking see Watchmen? You're kind of a comic book nerd. You know, making fucking awesome. You made that movie. If you really pay attention, it was kind of responsible.
So did you see The Watchmen? Did you like The Watchmen series?
I did.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for more.
They're not. It got fucking. There's no more.
There is no more.
There's no more coming. As of right now, there's no more announced coming, and that's one of those.
Too much racial tension shit the summer after that shit aired,
or whatever. Like, great series though, very well put together. And
King was great in that.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see more too. That was one of those series that we definitely would have talked about if I wasn't in transition of moving.
Really?
I would have. What was it?
Like, there's only the one season.
I believe it's only going to be the one season of The Watchmen. Unfortunately, or they haven't announced another. If anyone has any other number for AMC, we will definitely call it in. And I'm sorry to disappoint you there, Joe. But as far as I've heard, they're only doing one season of The Watchmen. Unfortunately, that's what I have heard. But a little bit more of Tim's message here.
It's sad the series that they do end up like Umbrella Academy is really good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Watchmen is
Watchmen is amazing. But with Netflix pisses me off the most with that, with like series like Mindhunters or Santa Clarita Diet and like or Glow and some of the ones that they choose to keep and they cancel those ones.
Sense8.
Yeah, or whatever. But
son, and see here, the OC kind of late.
Oh, I love the OC. It's great. So and oh yeah, one more little bit from Tim here.
I'm chewing the face. Yeah, nobody will know what the hell is going on. Yeah, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is also. So, fuck you.
Fuck you, Joe.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Joe. Tim says, fuck you, Jeffrey D. Morgan's awesome. Go fuck yourself. Oh, and they canceled American Gods. Did you keep up with American Gods?
I watched season 1. I haven't finished it yet, though. So there's only 2 seasons of that.
Yeah, but it's what's weird about that series, Joe, is I watched part of season 1 as well, and I enjoyed every episode I watched, but I didn't keep watching for some reason. But
I watched all of season 1, and then when I knew season 2 came out, I never went back.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was.
I loved it. I couldn't wait for more. But
yeah.
It had been so long. And that's the problem with streaming. I can burn the whole fucking thing in one day, and then I got to wait a whole year. Chances I come back or I remember the show as fondly past the 6-month mark are not as good. So if that happens to me when I like a show, I can only imagine how it is for people who are casual television watchers who like a show, who really like a show.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's difficult. Like shows disappear for many years, and you follow.
Better Call Saul.
I mean, in fairness, that it had come out every year. This is an unusual situation.
Correct.
With a break in production. Otherwise, it would have been on schedule to come out in the same schedule that it was. I think, honestly, this all started, the first show to do this, I'm blaming it on Game of Thrones. No, Game of Thrones was like the first one to say, or
Sopranos did it.
Sopranos did it too, didn't they? Yeah, Sopranos did it too.
They had a big delay between like the last season, like a year and a half instead of just a year.
Yeah, because there was all those contract negotiations with the actors, and there was like all this talk that they weren't going to conclude it, and the end of season 5 or season 6A was going to be all there was. Atari Dad says, I liked part of the watch. Oh, delete the comment. I missed it. Probably rewriting it. Fandom says, I saw season 1 and season 2, and I didn't go back. Umbrella Academy, is that the one with Elliot Page?
Yes.
Yes. I liked parts of the Watchmen series, though parts of it were ridiculous. Only 2 lynchings ever occurred in the history of the state of New York. NYPD wasn't going around randomly lynching. Walking David just assumes I was singing Cartman songs. The Walking David last week lost it on a Tim message. Tim left a message, and the Walking David uncontrollably started laughing his ass off. Calling Angela, I'm too sensitive, Kane. Thank you guys in the chat so much tonight. You guys have been amazing, heading us in a lot of unbelievable directions. Bird Lady, I still see your super chat donation sitting up there. It looks so fucking beautiful. And Philip's voicemail. But we had a lot of really amazing voicemail calls tonight. Anything more about this episode? I know I interrupted you a few times, Joe, before we start to wrap this up. Anything more about this episode that you didn't get to say?
Were they in New York? I thought they were in like Kansas City or like or
I don't know. It's been a while since I saw.
I thought they were in the Midwest. I thought they were in like a big city in the Midwest.
Now Merle asked.
I could be like wicked wrong, but I didn't think they were in New York City for the Watchmen.
Merle asks you, Joe, do you remember that old Super Friends cartoon?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like that Invincible. Almost feels like that combined with more of like a He-Man or a She-Ra kind of animation that's much better, but it has like a Justice League, Super Friends writing almost with dude, John Hamm is in it. You like John Hamm, Phil?
I love me some Don Draper.
You got some Don Draper in there. You got a large chunk of Walking Dead alum are in this.
Joe,
and
speaking
current
of The
cast
Walking
members in
Dead,
this.
what is your final rating for this episode, the season finale of The Walking Dead tonight? Out of 10. What would be your rating out of 10? How many Negan bats up the ass would you give this episode?
It's halfway up. The bat is halfway in. It's a 5. Right, dead smack 5. For The Walking Dead, listen. Here's the thing. The Walking Dead, right? The bar used to be here. Now the bar is somewhere down here, right? So, like, when rating The Walking Dead,
are you grading on a curve here?
There has to be a curve, right? Because there's a chunk of seasons that have great episodes, great television. Like, this is not great television. If we're doing, like, as far as even like as a broad TV goes, this is sub 5. If this is are we doing current Walking Dead standards? This is a 5. If we're doing all Walking Dead standards, again, I think we're sub 5.
I say when you rank a show, for me anyways, I rank it based on the series itself and what the episode is trying to achieve. Like the series, like you have to rank it against
5.
other Walking Dead series.
I can only rank it against current Walking Dead. Walking Dead is a decade long, right? It's definite. You can't rate Phil 20-year-old against Phil 10-year-old.
Now, would you?
Right?
Where would you have? Oh, sorry, I thought I fucking mouse.
Even though 10-year-old Phil might have been the penultimate Phil, which 1-year-old Walking Dead was. That 2-year-old.
Where would you rank the Terminator episode? What would your score for that episode be, just for comparison's sake? You said this one was a 5.
I think even at the time I said 7.5, 8.
7 or 8 or so. Okay, so
I didn't review that episode with you guys. That was
I did that one on myself, and we talked about the next week. Atari says, they were talking a little bit. You were right, Joe. The Watchmen series is based. Mildly based on how it really was, especially where I'm from in the South. And Atari Dad says they were in Tulsa in the present in the 40s.
Tulsa.
And when they became Hooded Justice, they were in New York at the end.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good score from Joseph and Tivia. So you're telling me, Joe, that this extra bonus episodes weren't really needed, asks Cattigat.
I believe they weren't. Like I said, the 6 extra episodes would have been better served. In my opinion, as I said earlier, give us 6 backstories that are all pre-pandemic if you're going to do something like this. You don't necessarily have to make them like populated with people like you could still, like they did. They had a scene or two that was supposed to be pre-outbreak, and she's driving around and on the phone and at the doctor's office or whatever. I think they could have, if they had done that, it would have better served the series than the 6 stories they ended up telling.
Now,
the 6 stories they ended up telling aren't necessarily, they were actually, except the Terminator one, I think could have fit into any season.
They were all generally, except for the Negan in the Terminator episode, they were all B stories.
D stories.
Even if you didn't like this this was at least an A story. Like even if you didn't enjoy it, it was a story that needed to be told, similar to the governor. It should have been told earlier, but it definitely needed to happen at some point. You want people that enjoyed the Negan character would want the backstory episode. I just think the timing for it is interesting. It should have only, whatever.
Agreed.
But David, just to finish the comments up, and then we're going to end things here. The Walking David, I agree there has to be a curve, otherwise the show would be considered terrible. Imagine if this was the first season of the show and didn't have 10 years of goodwill behind it.
Yes, it canceled. It wouldn't even make it through the first season. This would have already been taken off the air.
Now, I think it's Atari Dad that's been saying this all through this half a season, and I'm curious if you have, Joe, because I have not, about how Fear is just a better show right now. Has Joe seen the recent seasons of Fear?
No,
It's actually gotten good.
Everybody's been saying that since fear started. And so I watched season 1, and everybody was absolutely dead fucking wrong. Yes, I said it. Your opinions about
season
your
1
feelings were wrong. Okay. Now, on top of that, they were like, no. Okay, well, we agree. You were right about everything, Joe. All those things you said are true. But season 2 is even better. Watch season 2. Just give season 2 a shot. It gets better. Motherfuckers made me watch season 2. God damn it, if that just does not get any better, it gets worse. Characters are doing the same stupid shit that we saw all our characters do from The Walking Dead, or are going to do. Like,
good night, fandom. Good night, David.
It is not a better show. I will not go back, and I will not continue watching that show.
Okay,
I do not expect it to have gotten any better at any point in time. The fact that anybody from that family is still drawing breath is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that the guy from Negan's clan is still out there alive is kind of ridiculous as well. He was pretty much a putz and doing a lot of horrible shit. And I like.
Is that Stephen Ogg's character? No, not Stephen Ogg's character.
I don't know.
Oh, whatever. Yeah. Atari Dead says no. I agree. Season 1 to 4 sucks. I'm with you on that. It's the recent seasons that people are saying.
How did you get through? Dude, season 1 sucked. I'll give season 2 sucked. I'll give season 3 sucked.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Season 1, 2, 3, and 4 were really good at The Walking Dead. 5.
Well, and I trust the Bird Lady as well. She says I didn't like it at first, but it's so good now. Phil, the issue got actually most of that family is dead now, so I think the writers agreed with you.
No, like.
I think is Nick dead? Did Nick die?
Nick died. Yeah, the mom should be dead. The daughter should be dead. They should all be dead.
Cadigan says I think Alicia, the daughter's the only one that's still alive. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was a really fun season finale to talk about. I love when Joe and I disagree. We got some good proper Joe rants tonight.
Yeah, dude. He talked about biting at the fucking canker, Atari.
I'm a glutton for punishment. Hey, we sat through a couple of really horrible seasons of Sons of Anarchy to get to the conclusion of.
Well, that last season. Oh my God. Took 10 minutes in the beginning and 10 minutes
and then a montage,
yeah. Peggy Bundy fucking singing during
and
the
then
montage.
Like 15 minutes of episode in the middle.
Oh my God. We're gonna you know what? We're only got one season left. I'm not sure if the Mayans is gonna take. So we're not only gonna get you some acting credits, and we're gonna get you some singing credits. We're gonna get you singing royalties. We're gonna get acting royalties. We're gonna get my writing royalties. We're gonna get my directing royalties. We're gonna get my fucking acting royalties. Are you fucking kidding me? It was like, my brain. That was awful. Why did you do that to us, Kurt? Like, I understand why you did it for your family, but God.
Oh,
damn.
Come on. Some of those versions of those songs she's sang were okay. Anyway,
she's got a good voice.
She's got a good voice.
Don't get me wrong. She could put together a tune with whatever band she's putting that shit together with. I love her on the Connors. I love her on the Bundys. I love her in everything I've ever seen that woman do. And oh my God, is she fucking gorgeous? But damn, did that ruin that series.
It was a lot of songs. But everyone, if you
not to mention she should have been dead like 4 seasons before it ended.
If you haven't already and you enjoyed this discussion or you hated the discussion, either way, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you jump on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe over there to be able to watch episodes live and jump in the chat and join us for these fun live discussions. You guys in the live chat make this so amazing. I will be back sometime during the week, but on Wednesday night I will be with Tony in Bridge 4 over on Tony's channel talking some Game of Thrones, and also on my Twitch channel, Phil the Issues Guy. I'll be simulcasting on that, so if you are not subscribed or following me on Twitch, make sure you follow over there.
I'm all over it.
And we will be talking some Jon Snow stuff, and then Joe and I will be back together 2 weeks from tonight, and then Matt and I will be
we'll be talking about Invincible,
and we'll be talking about the Mighty Ducks as well with Joe. Well, I'm gonna make Joe watch the Mighty Ducks.
If I gotta watch the Mighty Ducks, you have to watch the entire Invincible, not just the first episode.
We'll talk about this a little bit
We're
more.
going minute for minute here, dude.
We'll talk about this a little bit more off the air. So yes, Matt and I will be back on the 13th.
And Babylon 5.
Matt and I will be back. Now you're pushing it. Matt and I will be back on the 13th on Tuesdays, starting to talk about.
I haven't talked to him in too long. We all got to get together and go.
Yeah, we'll be doing something very soon. Holy shit!
Share the COVID with each other.
Bliss, a sensitive man. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. That's one more shot for you. But yeah, Wednesday night on Tony's channel. He also simulcasts that on Facebook, and I'll be simulcasting on the Twitch channel. And we'll be talking about Jon Snow's fate in the book. So if you're into that kind of discussion, check that out. Joe and I will be back in 2 weeks talking about a bunch of different subjects. And I will be back next Sunday night at 10:30, possibly with a guest, possibly alone, talking about some randomness of some sort. Toast to Bliss, a sensitive man. Thank you for your super chats tonight. All of you guys have been amazing, making this even more worth it, and being in the live chat and talking about these 6 episodes. It's good to be back talking to Joe every other week and getting Joe back in rhythm. And until I move,
dude, you don't understand that. Okay. Those rants are not forced. It's very tough. Like when I'm asked to do a rant,
it's because
I'm on the spot. I can't do it.
It's
right?
because tonight everyone, a lot of people legitimately love this episode, and you have a differentiating opinion. So it created a real emotion.
It feels good to let that out. Like I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. You don't even understand.
It's like
that comes from within. Like that's not made up. That's not like that's.
It's how the Emperor says, "Let your anger bleed through, young Padawan."
Oh, dude, yeah, you'll feel you. Hey,
your anger.
I may have been angry about other shit, and that stuff somehow attaches to my little and. There you go.
And there you
it feels good to get it out, and I thank you all for enjoying.
Wait, we have one more text. If Joe watches season 2 and 3 of Young Justice, he would see it's more of an adult themed series than the other seasons. So
I will definitely go back to it. I didn't stop necessarily because of any reason, but at the time I was watching it. Not well. I wasn't at home and I wasn't out and about. I was watching it in a very specific place, and I decided that it was kind of a bad example. They were hiring a lot of new people that had zero experience.
Yeah,
so it was no longer feasible for me to show them how not to do the job. I needed to show them how to do the job before I can show them how not to
The
do
Walking
the job.
David says, you deserve a good rest, Joe.
Not that I'm talking about work.
He says, sleep well, buddy.
Definitely not talking about work.
He said, don't let the jukebox bite. And everyone, if you haven't already and you've watched this and you enjoy this silliness, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this channel with a friend. Keep going. We're going to keep these Sunday night discussions going for as long as I possibly can. I am going to be moving probably sometime in the summer or the fall, but it's not going to be a move like last time. There isn't going to be like a 6-month kind of break. It's just going to be kind of like a normal person move. But I am going to be going strong until then, every Sunday evening that we possibly can do. Joe's going to be with us every other Sunday, pending some weird work things where he's not available or just wants a night off to go out with the Crow Girl or something like that. But basically, Joe will be joining us every other Sunday, and here and there when he can. We're going to get back to things that we were doing right before we took the break, where we did like that X-Men review of all the X-Men movies and ranking we're going to do some of the Marvel movies, some of the series that Joe wants me to check out or I want Joe to check out, for whether it be for pleasure or pain. I don't necessarily want Joe to watch the Mighty Ducks because I think he's going to like it. I just want to see what his reaction to the Mighty Ducks is. But yes, please hit the like button.
What is this Mighty Ducks we're talking about anyway?
It's a sequel series to the first 3 movies on Disney Plus. With
I never watched the first 3 movies.
Oh, then it's not. Then I'm not going to make you watch it. Forget it. Back to that.
That is the best white lie I ever took.
You're such a douchebag, everybody.
No, I seriously have only ever watched the first movie.
That's all you.
Which was good.
That's all you need. It's more like the first movie than it is like the second and third one, or the cartoon series. But either way, talk to you guys next time. We love you. Bye. Happy Walking Dead. 24 more, Joe. 24 more. We gotta make the advent calendar.
So sad. It's such a good show. Why is it going away, Phil?
Why is it going away? Why is it going away? Leave our Walking Dead alone. We're never gonna have this much.
If they kill the Walking Dead, I'm never watching The Walking Dead again.
Don't say that, Joe. Don't say that. That's horrible. That's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Good night, everybody.